Talked about relationship with football star Travis Kelce. 4 Republicans running for president will debate tonight, but once again, former President Trump will be a no-show after a town hall on Fox last night in Iowa before the first contest there next month.
From the enthusiasm in the polls, we're going to win by a lot more than we won even the last 2 times.
And what he said to Sean Hannity is under a lot of scrutiny. When asked if he would abuse power or seek retribution against his critics, the former president said no.
Except for day 1.
Meaning?
I want to close the border. And I want to drill. That's not
retribution.
Now, President Biden at a fundraiser in Boston told Democratic donors if former President Trump wasn't running, he might not have run for re-election, as he keeps warning another Trump term is a danger to democracy. Israel keeps bombarding southern Gaza, going after Hamas leaders, displacing more Palestinians. Many already had fled their homes in the north.
James Elder from UNICEF believes so-called safe zones aren't worth the name.
These are tiny patches of barren land, or they're street corners. There's sidewalks. There is no water, no facilities, no shelter.
Israel insists it's doing all it can to limit humanitarian suffering.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. 6 people are dead in Texas after police say a man now in custody went on a shooting spree, first in San Antonio, then in Austin, where 2 officers were also wounded. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Shot while on a walk. It's cloudy and 35 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling for Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 9:02. A man was shot while walking his dog last night on the northwest side. The call came in around 10:30 to an area near 46th and High School Road. Police got there to find a man shot in the leg. He was then taken to the hospital where he's alive and recovering. A street drug that was denied medical approval back in the 70s is being found in Indiana now. Hamilton County Coroner Jeff Jellison says it is bromazolam, which is the nickname Bro.
Getting it in pill form, powder form, gummy form. It's really being manufactured by black market internet pharmacies.
It's being sold as Xanax on the black market. Jellison tells Wish TV that it's also been found in Ohio and Illinois. It's similar to fentanyl, he says. The president of an Ivy League school was questioned by an Indiana congressman Tuesday. Harrison Silcox reports.
Anti-Semitism has no place at Penn, and our free speech policies are guided by the United States Constitution.
University of Pennsylvania President Liz McGill's response to Indiana Congressman Jim Banks, who claims the school is letting hate speech on its campus go unpunished.
Ms. McGill, the fact is that Penn regulates speech that it doesn't like.
Banks called Penn a hotbed for anti-Semitism during a congressional hearing Tuesday, claiming some professors are spreading pro-Palestine messages. Everson Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Over a dozen charges for a man described as a real estate scam artist by the Marion County prosecutor. James Blyer II is accused of trying to force the sale of someone's home using falsified airship documents and disguising a $50,000 bank loan. The Indiana Hoosiers grinded out a win over Michigan on the hardwood last night.
From a defensive standpoint, we got stops and key rebounds when we needed it. I mean, it was a total team effort, I thought.
Head coach Mike Woodson, final score 78-75 up at Ann Arbor. Next up, Auburn on Saturday. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
All right, Kurt, we're coming out of downtown and doing it slowly. Crashed northbound 65 at 21st, and right now, 2 right lanes are blocked, and this is jam traffic into the north split and onto westbound 70. You're slow to roll, and if you're coming up, say, from Greenwood on northbound 65, 70, that's now stop and go before West 10th on up to the north split. It's East 10th, okay. Traffic sponsored by Wendy's Indiana. Start your engines with Wendy's Hoosier Biscuit Bowl, a fluffy buttermilk biscuit with sausage gravy, seasoned potatoes and cheddar cheese, topped with a freshly cracked egg, and a participating Wendy's for a limited time. I'm Matt Baer with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. Be sure to schedule your health assessment at Low T Center. They offer the convenience of physician-monitored, self-inject at-home testosterone treatments with an average payment of just $150 a month cash pay, including labs and medication.
If you don't live near a Low T Center or you just need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy, shipping treatments directly to you. LowTCenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Life is a collection of moments that last forever, so make them matter and make them count with a symbol of everlasting love. A diamond from Pierce Jewelers. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
WIBC News Time, 9:05. Now the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Mostly cloudy for the morning, partly cloudy skies this afternoon, and chilly. Today's high only 40. Gradual clearing with breezy conditions overnight, a low of 33. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
It's cloudy and 35 on Monument Circle. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, December 6th. It is 6 minutes after 9 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Boy, you came in here and you were just barking orders today. I mean, like everybody, it's everybody subservient to Casey Day. She's pointing at Kevin and you're going to play this one and then we're going to move into that one. And I don't have time to listen to Rob talk or offer any insights on this. Let's go.
I love how you exaggerate. Do you want to talk about your knee or are we going to wait?
You thought I was faking about my knee. Turns out there was actually something going on there. No, I don't want to disrupt because you were so... I mean, you know in the cartoons where the face turns red and then steam starts coming out of their ears? That was you on this Christopher Wray stuff. Whatever the deal is with Christopher Wray, you are just ready to talk about that.
Now, that's not true at all. You are fibbing to our listeners. What I said was, I want to get to this Marsha Blackburn clip quickly because in it, she lists everything that she wants to talk to Christopher Wray about. Of course, the head of the FBI. He sat in front of the Senate Judiciary hearing yesterday. It lasted for hours, and it seems like everybody had their turn. But here is Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee, and she's talking about all of the things that she wants to ask Christopher Wray about.
We would love to know if he's covering up some of Joe Biden's crimes. I also want to know how and what participation the FBI had in covering up these flight logs from Jeffrey Epstein. We would also like to know what they're doing with their investigation into Hunter Biden, how they went about investigating President Trump and pulling information from private individuals that were retweeting a President Trump tweet. We also want to look at what they're doing to investigate Catholics. We hear that the FBI went in and did an interview with the priest, with the choir director, Maria. They are so off the mark. I tell you what they ought to be doing. They ought to be following these terrorists that are coming across our southern border and into our country and rooting them out. They ought to be looking at why you had 2,000 Chinese nationals in the month of October cross that southern border and enter the U.S.
Okay, so Marsha Blackburn listing everything. The Epstein client list, the terror threat, the Bidens under investigation, targeting Catholics. Was Christopher Wray ready for all of this?
And the Republicans are so angry about this, they're going to just continue to fully fund the FBI and all of the things that they do or may not do. And they're always going to get to the bottom of things, Casey. They've always got just a lot of questions and a lot of need for accountability. And well, of course, they won't use the one piece of power they actually have, which is the power of the purse. But they're really angry, and they're really going to get to the bottom of all of this, Casey.
One thing that did happen yesterday during that Senate Judiciary hearing was that the FBI director says that the U.S. is facing the highest risk of attack in years. Christopher Wray said that there are blinking lights everywhere and warns terrorists will exploit the southern border.
Does anybody believe, now, again, there are many people who work for the FBI who I'm sure are just incredibly hardworking people and care deeply about their country and want nothing but just the absolute best for America. Does anybody have confidence, though, in the leadership, whether it's the FBI or CIA, given the things that have come out, that the leadership is actively engaged in working on behalf of the American people? And again, this is in no way to say the rank and file members of the FBI down the street from us or all across the country. I'm sure there's many hard-working people. But from the leadership perspective, given the things that come out on the regular, do you have any confidence in, maybe that's a better way to put it, do you have any confidence in organizations like the FBI that they'll do what's right for the American people?
It seems like they know about a lot of stuff, but they're not being transparent with anything, nor are they doing anything to stop any of it. Now, Christopher Wray did say that the Bureau is moving quickly to stop threats, but he also said there's enough fentanyl flooding in from Mexico to kill every American, and admitted that he was concerned about all the migrant crossings. I'm glad that he's concerned, right? And he also warned that violent extremists in the U.S. and abroad could draw inspiration from the Hamas attack. And he said that the FBI is working around the clock to stop these potential attacks.
That's great. I'm glad they're working around the clock. Again, we had actually just talked about this a couple weeks ago. If there was a well-coordinated operation against this country, thankfully for us, most of these terrorists are total idiots and do things that are blatantly obvious that throw up red flags or trigger someone looking into it. But if there was a well-orchestrated plot against this country with non-morons running the show, do you have any confidence that we'd get them because of our own acumen at this point?
No.
No, of course not.
No.
If it's Donald Trump, oh, yeah, we're going to get him, no problem. But in terms of the actual nuts and bolts, no confidence whatsoever.
Okay, so here he is sounding the alarm once again about serious terror threats in the country, and he was asked by Lindsey Graham to compare it to before 9/11.
So what I would say that is unique about the environment that we're in right now in my career is that while there may have been times over the years where individual threats could have been higher here or there than where they might be right now, I've never seen a time where all the threats, or so many of the threats, are all elevated all at exactly the same time. That's what makes this environment that we're in now so fraught, and why funding our men and women who are working shoulder to shoulder with state and local law enforcement and other partners every day makes it even more important, not less.
So, blinking red lights analogy about 9/11, all the lights were blinking red before 9/11. Apparently, obviously, all of us missed it. Would you say that there's multiple blinking red lights out there?
I see blinking lights everywhere I turn.
Well, that's because he's the director of the FBI, and that's his job to see those blinking red lights. But you're right. That doesn't make you feel very confident, does it?
Can we go back to, what's her name, Blackburn, and her talking about the Epstein flight logs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this guy's been dead, what? Is it 3 years? 2 years? If only there was a way we could look things up on the fly. If there was a search engine or something of some sort we could do that on. Maybe someday there will be. Whatever it's been, it doesn't even matter.
August 10th, 2019.
Oh, hell, he's been dead. He's been dead?
Mm-hmm.
For 4 years?
Yeah.
So this guy's been dead 4 years, and we still have no idea who went to his island. Like, we know clearly there were victims, which is why he was arrested, which is why Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested and ultimately convicted. So they knew where they were convicted of something, and yet we have no idea who the people are that they took to the island or a part of the sexual abuse. How is that possible? How is that possible that 4 years after this guy died, and we still essentially have no public information, for the most part, about who this guy was, what he did, what took place there? We have a couple of eyewitness accounts from victims. Most of that, though, was swept under the carpet with private settlements. Somebody went to these islands. Mm-hmm. Somebody was there. They trafficked these kids in for someone, and yet there's no information.
Right. And Marsha Blackburn said that she wasn't going to stop until she got all of the names of every person on the flight log and that they were released to the public. That's the thing. They have the list.
She's a United States senator.
They're not being transparent about it.
She's a U.S. senator. It's always this thing of, someone should do something about this. Oh, we've got to stand up. And they never do the thing. Stop giving them money. Just stop. Whoever refuses to give information on one of the most prolific child sex abusers in the history of this country, then stop giving that organization money. Whoever is stonewalling you, stop agreeing to pay to fund that agency. That is so ridiculous that all these years later we have just what seemingly is absolutely no information whatsoever.
So did you see that Robert Kennedy Jr. revealed that he traveled on the private plane twice? He said this on Jesse Waters' Primetime last night, that he was on it twice. So he came out and said, yeah, I was on it. In 93. Yeah.
And what?
And what else can you tell us about this?
Yeah,
Who was with you?
Yeah.
What did you do? Where did you go? What did you see? Start talking.
I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theory person in the sense of I'm not sure that every world leader, was on the flight as you're led to believe on the internet. But I absolutely don't think this guy was running around with vagrants and hobos. So, who were these people that were running around on these airplanes?
Mm-hmm. One other clip that I wanted to get to from the Senate Judiciary hearing with the FBI director was from the senator from Louisiana, John Kennedy. And he's talking about the Hunter Biden laptop. And he asks a really good question. Like, if the FBI knew that it wasn't real, why didn't they just say, hey, we know this isn't real?
Why didn't the FBI just say, hey, the laptop's real? Why didn't you just tell everybody the laptop's real? We're not vouching for what's on it, but it's real. This isn't a fiction.
Well, as you might imagine, the FBI cannot, especially in a time like that, be talking about an ongoing investigation. Second, I would tell you that at least my understanding is that both the FBI folks involved in the conversations and the Twitter folks involved in the conversations both say that the FBI did not direct Twitter to suppress.
But others were
story.
in government.
Well, I can't speak to others in government. Now, that's part of the point that I was trying to make, because the Fifth Circuit's opinion.
You're the FBI. You're not part of the White House and part of Homeland Security. You're not supposed to be political. You see all this controversy going on. Why didn't the FBI say, time out, folks, we're not getting in the middle of this, but the laptop's real?
Again, we have to be very careful about what we can say, especially in the middle of an election season, because that's precisely some of the problems that led to my predecessors' negative findings from the Inspector General.
Did you hear a gavel?
Thank you, Senator
I heard
Kennedy.
a gavel.
He just said that they can't say things if an election is near, because that's what got his predecessor in trouble. You can't speak the truth?
Yeah, isn't that wild,
Because
Casey?
you're afraid you'll get fired?
Yeah, boy, I'm so glad you caught on to that. Also, that appears to be in direct contrast with what Mark Zuckerberg told Congress.
Right, he said we weren't working with Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg said that the government did pressure them to take stories down involving Hunter Biden's laptop. So, it's always someone else's fault, Casey, and we're always going to get to the bottom of it, and we're always going to hold someone else accountable, and gosh darn it, it just never seems to happen.
Lies, 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 yeah. It is 18 minutes after 9. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
I alphabetized my soundboard. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. F?
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, sir.
I have to go to S for Sopranos. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think you got it.
It's so clean now. It's fantastic. Yeah, we have clearly run out of things to talk about. There's nothing else going on in the world.
It's a great world, everything's so.
This show is stupid.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
With tens of thousands of satisfied patients across America, it's no surprise QC Kinetics gets 5-star reviews.
I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
I'm able to do the things that I wasn't able to do for a long time.
I can recommend them highly. I would recommend QC to anybody.
QC Kinetics has changed my life.
I couldn't believe it. I honestly was skeptical, but the pain went from a 10 to a 0.
Real people with real lasting relief from joint pain.
QC Kinetics Regenerative Medicine is regenerating me.
It was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
This non-surgical approach is definitely the future.
I tell as many people as possible. I am an ambassador. I love QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. No drugs, no surgery. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
When it comes to illegal immigration, there's only one true conservative running for U.S. Senate this year. That's Trump-endorsed Jim Banks. Jim Banks has a plan, and it's simple. If you're caught in this country illegally, you're sent back to where you came from. Got that? No? Okay, well, let me repeat it. When Jim Banks is the senator, his policy on illegal immigration will be as follows. If you're in the country illegally, you're going back to where you came from. Mi casa is no longer tu casa, my friends. Jim Banks, Navy veteran, Trump endorsed. A simple plan for dealing with illegal immigration. Jim Banks for U.S. Senate. American Leadership PAC is responsible for the content of this message. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.americanleadershippac.org.
B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, your independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, is sponsoring the Matt Bear Salvation Army Radiothon virtual candle this week on WIBC.com. B&W will match your donation up to $500 if you give by 6 a.m. Friday. Go to WIBC.com, look for the Salvation Army Radiothon, and click on the Matt Bear link. Thanks to B&W Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, your trusted independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer serving Central Indiana.
Hey, you're up next.
My throat hurts so bad. There's no way I can sing tonight.
Here, try these.
Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Yeah, Vicks VapoCool Drops has maximum strength menthol with a rush of Vicks Vapors.
Ooh, I can already feel it.
I told you. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Vaporize sore throat pain fast with Vicks VapoCool Drops.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
See that sign? No shirt, no shoes, no ties.
Right. Learn it. Know it. Live it.
Good morning. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, 22 minutes after 9. All right. Do you want to tell us about your knee?
Yes. And, for several weeks now, you've been just totally dismissive of me and thought this was some sort of fun and games. And it was good time Charlie's over here. For those of you who don't know, a couple weeks ago, I had awoken, gone to do various things in the morning. And as soon as I got out of bed, my leg tragically buckled under me. And I, in a life-threatening event, crashed to the floor. Thought my foot was broken at the time. Thankfully, it was not broken. Also thought maybe I had, I don't know, torn, I'm just making up words here, meniscus or a...
You don't even know what a meniscus
UCL
is.
or a, or ACL. All of them had been torn.
Yeah.
And I was in severe pain, and you thought this was just hilarious.
I did not.
And I said this.
I asked you many times what's going on with the knee.
Could be some sort of life-altering injury where I will never walk the same ever again.
Right.
Thankfully, my chiropractor, Dr. Joel Starnes, an incredible American, I went to see him last night, and he informed me that he also knows a lot about knees and can help you with knees.
Okay.
And he did indeed inform me my knee was out of alignment.
Okay.
Thank you. He did something with a gun of some sort, shot the thing in the back twice, and now it's back in alignment and feels much better.
Oh,
so
well, good.
You thought it was all fun and games.
Yeah.
No, my knee was out of alignment for like 3 weeks, Casey.
Oh, I'm so sorry. But did he say if you'll be able to play the piano? Couldn't help you with that? I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.
Because there's nothing worse than a cranky Rob Kendall.
Well, I mean, here was my concern, because after I determined my foot was not broken, it was just very sore, and after a couple of days of it beginning to heal. My issue was that it's not normal for someone with no history of leg injuries. Look at me, I'm very physically fit.
Sure.
To just have their leg buckle from under them. Now, my question is, what caused this to happen initially?
Yeah, what'd you do?
I don't know. I mean, I literally just went out to walk after getting out of bed. However, everyone can rest better. My knee is now back in alignment. It feels very, very good. And the health crisis, it appears, at least for now, may have been averted.
Good.
Thanks to modern medicine.
Yes, I'm so glad that you're feeling better. Hey, you know what we have coming up on Friday? We have the WIBC radiothon.
Oh, that's right.
And
at Sullivan's.
Yeah. And So do you remember last year? I
tried to forget.
I was relatively new to the program,
Yes.
and you did something last year.
That's right.
That I will
That's
never ever forget. So our listeners know, you guys know that we have this template, and
Yeah.
it's the outline of topics that we're going to discuss. Some of them we get to, some of them we don't. So at this point last year, Rob said, hey, we've got radiothon tomorrow, and you need to do the template. You need to get really good at this. I thought, okay. So it was the first time that you had turned over the template to me 100%. And I must have spent 4 hours working on the template.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
The radiothon broadcast.
It's a very
a
involved
lot
process.
of time. It was the first time I was doing it solo. I wanted to do a good job. I was very thorough.
Look at you go.
I wanted to have all of my facts correct. And I wanted you to be proud of me.
And
that
honestly,
I did
Casey, it's probably the best template we've ever had on this show. I mean, the time you put into that was just truly an inspiration.
Yeah. So and then that morning, the morning of radiothon, I showed up to Sullivan's and I was very proud to present the template to you. And we get going into the broadcast, and I realized very quickly that we're not talking about any of the things that I spent hours working on, and you knew it.
Yeah.
You completely hazed me.
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
Not happening this year. I'm not falling for your tomfoolery.
Yeah.
I know the deal this time.
Uh-huh.
So while I may put a few things on the template, I'm not spending 4 hours to try and impress you.
Yeah.
Or have this big time show that we're not going to even talk about any of it.
And see, I told Kev this at the time. I said, every woman secretly deep down needs to impress a man. And I'm going to prove it right here with this. And you totally took the bait. And
I did.
I hope he loves me after he sees this template.
But the WIBC Radiothon does kick off on Friday morning at 6 a.m. But right now, we've got the individual talent kettles up at WIBC. And my good friends at Galaxy Concrete Coatings have said that they will donate up to $1,000. They'll match up to $1,000. So we'd like to get a little head start on the donations. And if you'd like to help us out, go to the WIBC.com and click on the page with my face.
Everyone support
not
Casey.
Rob's.
No, everyone support Casey.
Yeah. If you want to donate, just donate on my page. That would be great.
You know, the amount of money, I was thinking about this. I've been here 7 years.
Mhm.
And, I'm not one to try to take credit for anything, Casey. I'm a more of the behind the scenes type of person.
Sure.
And, but truly, with the amount of money I've raised for the Salvation Army in the 7 years I've been here, I'm not necessarily saying like a monument in front of our building is due in my honor, but I'm saying, it's a pretty impressive amount of money we've raised over the years. And, everyone should just go to Casey's page, and when you give to Casey's account, just say this is Rob's raised enough. So let's let Casey have some money this time.
Yeah, give me a little bit of the glory. Well, it's all for the community with the Salvation Army, and we can't wait for it. How many years have we been doing this? Do you know? You don't know.
9,000.
Okay.
This is the 9,000th radiothon. What is this? It's 30? Is this, I don't know. Every year they tell us when we get there. It's been a very long time, and obviously by this point we've raised tens of millions of dollars over the years for Salvation Army.
All right, and we always appreciate your support, and we're going to count on you again.
Good
this
luck on
year.
that template, Casey.
Yeah, once again, it starts Friday at 6 a.m. with 93 WIBC.
Have you saved enough? Do you have a plan for Social Security and taxes in retirement? Hey, Casey Weed of Howard Bailey Financial, where our mission is to help you gain clarity and purpose and elevate meaning in your life through personal and practical financial strategies. That's why we want to give you our Retire with Purpose toolkit at no cost. In it, you'll find valuable information on minimizing taxes, maximizing Social Security, and building a retirement income you can't outlive. Plus, you'll receive a copy of my book, Job Optional. To get your complimentary toolkit, call or text the keyword info 42 to 866-482-9559. That's info 42 to 866-482-9559.
Howard Bailey Financial is the official wealth management partner of Notre Dame Athletics. Notre Dame Athletics was compensated for this endorsement and is not a current client of Howard Bailey. For more information, please visit howardbailey.com/ND disclosure. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He was a television pioneer. It's 36 and sunny, rather cloudy downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. He wrote shows that changed TV.
Boy, the way Glenn Miller played.
Songs that made the hit parade.
Guys like us, we had it made. Those were the days. Good times.
Norman Lear, who produced shows like All in the Family and Good Times, has died. Lear also produced One Day at a Time, The Jeffersons, and Maude, to name a few more. Lear was 101 years old. He passed away last night in Los Angeles. Intense fighting being reported between Israel and Hamas in southern Gaza. Witnesses say that Israeli warplanes are bombing targets across the densely populated coast of Gaza. Tanks are also rolling into southern areas of Gaza, where Israeli troops are battling Palestinian militants. Taylor Swift is Time's Person of the Year. Swift was chosen over 8 other finalists, including King Charles and Barbie. Now your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. We're rebounding today. The Dow is up 95 points at the opening bell to 36,284. The NASDAQ up 118 to 16,027. And the S&P 500 is up 21.5 to 4,596. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
The next generation of streaming is here. Introducing Spectrum One Stream. Get 300 megabit internet for $49.99 a month, including advanced Wi-Fi, and 1 unlimited mobile line free for 12 months. And when you add Spectrum TV, get a Xumo Stream Box free for 12 months. Spectrum One Stream. It's streaming simplified. Visit Spectrum.com for details. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
My name is Donita, and I cared for my mother for 8.5 years. There were times where I was like, I can't do this alone. Then I found CareForth. They gave me the resources and the confidence to care for Mom at home. They even paid me. I'm so happy I was able to care for Mom, but even more grateful I wasn't alone. When I say they're like family, I mean it.
Caring for a loved one at home? Get support and get paid by visiting careforth.com. That's careforth.com.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
At Absolute Wealth Management, LLC, we understand that your retirement and taxes are inseparable. And if you're over 50, we're offering a special deal to kickstart your financial journey in 2024. You can have your 2023 tax return prepared and filed, including Schedules A, B, and D, for just $79.95. This can be the start of a lifelong profitable partnership with Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. All our retirement planning clients will continue to receive the substantial discount for tax filing and preparation as part of our ongoing retirement marathon that focuses on protecting everything you've worked so hard to build while still providing growth to help elevate your lifestyle in retirement. Take absolute control of your retirement. Call us now at 317-288-0634, 317-288-0634, or visit AbsoluteWealthManagementLLC.com. Investment advisory services offered through Gradient Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Gradient Advisors, LLC, and its advisors do not render tax, legal, or accounting advice.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning, 9:35 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So nearly 60% of people living in the Midwest and the surrounding states say they will not get the new COVID-19 vaccine this year. That's according to a new Emerson College poll. Now, the FDA has approved an updated COVID-19 booster, but most people, majority, more than half at least, saying, no, thank you. Pass, not going to get this.
Does that surprise you?
Not really.
I mean, you and I are in a different world on this. You got the vaccine. I did not. You probably, I would guess at this point, based on your own public statements, and I'll turn it back over to you, you feel a lot of anger over that because you were essentially forced into it by your employer.
Yeah, exactly. And
you had physical ramifications from being forced to do that.
Yeah, and if I had the opportunity to go back in time, I would have said no thank you, and I would have risked the job.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, and it's not, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, and thankfully you have a microphone so you can put your own words in, but I would guess a big part of that is, number one, you felt rushed into doing it. Number two, you didn't feel you had all the information necessary. And number three, it's horrible to have to make a choice between your job and your own physical health. And you probably feel a little betrayed by the people who were, in positions of authority over you, that they forced you into doing that for something, especially the cherry on top. You would feel that way regardless. But the cherry on top is this thing has now been proven largely ineffective over a long period of time.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting in this study done by Emerson College that they're saying specifically people in Minnesota, Illinois, Colorado, and Iowa, about half of the residents say they're going to forego the vaccine and that it's a Midwest thing. Obviously, you've got, I guess, maybe a more liberal attitude towards the vaccines on the coastal states.
Well, and I think a big part of it, too, is there's obviously, and this happened during COVID here. You have just massive government misinformation out there. Eric Holcomb and Dr. Bach's gynecologists were the provocateurs, the presenters of mass government misinformation. I mean, they lied to people about COVID. Now, Holcomb will come out now and go, well, I was just dealing with the information that I had at the time. There's no science that backs up the things that Eric Holcomb was saying during COVID. He was listening to people, but there was absolutely, in the long run, no science that supported the words that came out of his mouth or the actions he took during COVID. We now know. Now, if you listen to this show, you knew from the beginning, because the data was very clear 2 weeks on, what the reality was. The reality was that if you were an able-bodied younger person, then you had no business being locked in your home. If you were an able-bodied younger person, you had no business not going to work. If you were an able-bodied younger person, the risk of long-term health effects for you were negligible. Now, did some people get COVID and have had, whatever they call COVID brain or whatever? Yes, absolutely. But it's a risk versus reward thing where Eric Holcomb can't prove that anything he did prevented someone from getting COVID. And most of the people who got COVID were perfectly fine. And the destruction on society, when you factor in things like abuse and drug use and suicide and mental health deterioration, far outweighed whatever he might have been able to claim that he saved. So you had mass government hypnosis, mass government misinformation, Eric Holcomb using a bully pulpit along with Dr. Bach's gynecologist, who, by the way, got COVID many, many times despite finger wagging at everybody else. And you just look at this and go, this is why people bought into this or felt compelled to buy into it, because the media gave these clowns like Eric Holcomb, and it was Newsom, it was the guy in New York, Cuomo. I mean, basically everybody other than Ron DeSantis and Kristi Noem and Greg Abbott were in on this just hoax of the American people about what the vaccine would do, about how a mask would help you not get COVID, about being locked in your home was the only way to prevent this, about standing 6 feet away from people. We know all of that stuff now is complete bullcrap, Casey. It's complete bullcrap. So I think in those other states, my point in all of this is I think in those other states, the mass hypnosis and misinformation probably still exists more so than it does places in many Midwestern states.
Wyoming has the largest percentage of residents who are going to most likely skip it with 74%. And then you mentioned one of the Dakotas, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Idaho all say they're not going to get the booster. 65% of residents saying they're going to pass. And so far, the CDC has reported that only 16% of U.S. adults have gotten the latest vaccine. And Indiana's own Mike Braun is now introducing legislation to stop travel coming in from China, as there's talk of more respiratory illnesses coming in. And of course, you've seen more stories about white lung that is spreading around the country.
I think
in time for an election.
I think the other thing that was so offensive about the COVID is how the people who asked the logical questions that ultimately proved to be correct were treated. It doesn't make you some anti-science, anti-vaxxer person if you're looking at the logistics of the information being provided by the government of all people during COVID and saying, now, wait a second, based on A, B, and C, I'm probably going to be okay. No, you got to get vaxxed to protect yourself from other people. But wait a second. People who have the vaccine are getting COVID, or people who are around people who have the vaccine are getting COVID. No, you're just an anti-science person. You want your grandma to die. I'm not an anti-vax person when vaccines have the process of going through the proper channels, the studies, the long-term, examinations. I'm 100% not anti-vaccine. We're having to make choices for our daughter right now. Mm-hmm. And you know what we're doing? We're getting all the information.
Yep.
Some of the vaccines we're getting, some of the ones we're not getting. But it's not because we're anti-vax. It's because we actually are the thing that people say, you should want to be, which is we are pro understanding realities and long-term effects. And where there are vaccines where there's not ample information, maybe we're foregoing some of those. But I'm not going to feel bad about doing my own homework, doing my own research, listening to medical professionals, and then making informed decisions. It doesn't make you a scourge on society.
Mm-hmm. And you don't want to be forced into it. A lot of times the vaccines for younger people, they're bundled together too.
Yes.
So now you have to see if it's available to have them separate.
We're actually going through that right now with one of the vaccines. We made a choice that there was a vaccine that we felt was good to have based on the information, the conversations we had, and our medical provider only had them together. So it's taken. We're having to go through extra steps to get them done separately. You know why we're doing that? Because
you want to know if there is an issue, which one it came from.
It doesn't make you a bad person to question even medical professionals. That's their job. It's no different than any other customer service industry. They work for you. Mm-hmm. Your doctor, your dentist, your nurse works for you. If you have questions, ask. If it's not been properly explained to you, ask. If you have hesitation, you don't have to just go along with it because somebody tells you. Many, many times, the overwhelming amount of medical professionals are wonderful people, and they're not in conspiracy theories on the right or the left. They're giving you the information they have. They're oftentimes giving you information based on what the liabilities are, both their liability and potentially, the liability of someone's health. It's not this broad conspiracy in many cases. But it doesn't, just the way people were treated during COVID, Casey, absolutely sucked.
It's 9:44 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Big Hammer and Nigel show this afternoon. The great Bill O'Reilly joins us, and we have the finals of Biden Madness. 3 to 7, 93 WIBC.
My little brother's friends have been camped out at our place for 2 days straight. 3. It's because of the Xfinity 10G network. Internet that can handle a house full of screens at once, with basically no interruptions. And it's only getting faster. When I was their age, internet like this was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Please go home.
The next generation 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Now through December 21st, new customers can get 75 megabit internet on the next generation Xfinity 10G network for just $20 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Go to Xfinity.com/10G Call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto-pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service. Actual speeds vary.
No more joint pain. It's not necessary to live another year in pain. Call QC Kinetics right now and make 2024 the year you are back to living a normal life again. Tony Katz here, and QC Kinetics can give you your life back. They're the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. All natural treatments that can repair and restore damaged tissue, giving you pain-free movement. QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients around the country. People who had knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, who were able to get lasting relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Make the call right now so you can get the most out of 2024. Got pain from that old injury? Pain from arthritis? Get back to doing what you love. Make that pain go away. And don't forget, you can use your HSA and FSA funds. Get your free consultation with QC Kinetics. 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. QC Kinetics in Eagle Creek, in Greenwood, and now in Carmel, all with Saturday appointments available. QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN.
There are many ways to eat McDonald's world-famous fries. Some eat both ends of the fry first, others two at a time. And some eat them so fast, they forget how they ate them.
Download the app for offers like 20% off any order of $5 or more. Because when you tap into favorites like a Big Mac, McCrispy, or fries, you tap into delicious. Valid through 12/31/23 at participating McDonald's. Valid one time per day. Excludes tax. Must opt into rewards. Visit McD app for details.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
You've heard the buzz about IT jobs in cybersecurity and AI, right? Why not prepare for a career in these fields and take advantage of the high demand? You could enjoy a more rewarding and recession-resistant lifestyle. Train in just a few short months at My Computer Career. No experience necessary. Already in IT? Skill up for positions employers need to fill. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. That's mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Inspired by family traditions and peaceful harmony. Inspired by the reason for the season, our Savior's birth and his gift of grace. Inspired by joyfully serving you as we do Christ in our Franciscan tradition. This Christmas season, we invite you to join us in our prayer for peace. Merry Christmas from all of us at Franciscan Health.
The latest local news, commentary from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey,
5.6%.
Hammer and Nigel,
Biden.
podcasts. Listen to the station live, whenever, wherever, online at WIBC.com.
9:48 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Good morning. So 1 in 5 Americans are going to apply for a new credit card to help with holiday shopping this season. Yeah. And nearly half say that their charitable giving will be affected by inflation.
Oh,
they're not going to give as much.
That sounds like a horrible idea.
Get a new credit card just to pay for Christmas?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I don't know who needs to hear this, but the actual meaning of Christmas is not about stuff.
It's not about.
This is like our, mandatory disclaimer.
Mm-hmm.
That Christmas is not true meaning of Christmas is not actually about how much stuff you can buy.
Yeah. Wallet Hub did a new study, and they said that 1 in 3 Americans are going to forego gifts completely due to inflation.
Good.
And a lot of them, 66%, were going to cut back or slim down.
I guess my question is, because so many people do, and it really says something about our society, people feel compelled they have to get other people gifts. And my question would be, why? Like any person whose love or affection or friendship is predicated on you giving them something.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't know if that's really a great relationship.
Yeah, I don't really think that's
to begin
somebody
with.
should probably be putting a lot of emphasis on being friends with. And if you're in a financial position where you can't afford to do that with the cash you have on hand, then my advice would be don't do it, because opening up credit cards for just specific reasons, I don't know, consult your trained financial professional, but that seems like a really quick path to nowhere, Casey.
So some people, 25%, 1 in 4, are still paying for last year's holiday
Oh my gosh,
debt.
that's horrible.
Can you imagine you're
Oh my
still
gosh.
paying for what you bought last year?
Yeah.
And then what are you going to do this year? Well, let's just take out another credit card. We're 19 days away from Christmas, by the way.
Well, and we talked about this yesterday a little bit, where the inflation, because of government's magical money printing factory and the government choking off the supply chains. And I mean, it was laughable that 3.5 years ago, people thought you could just shut society down and it'll be 15 days and everything will go back to normal. I mean, even if it had just been 15 days, you can't disrupt life for that amount of time and just think things are going to just snap back to normal. And so, yeah, you're going to feel the pain of what the government did to you for probably at least another 5 to 10 years, because you can't. There's so many tentacles to the harm that the government did, and the tentacles, are in many ways it's connected, right? So if you disrupt one thing, it's going to affect everything else. And as we've seen, you've seen massive price, spikes. You've seen the inability to get various goods and services. And these things are all tied in together. So the point of all this is, we had this conversation yesterday. You can't work your way out of inflation. Like I had a second job this year at the golf course, and it wasn't like I was doing backbreaking labor, but it was still time away from my family. And I was fortunate that I was able to do something that I'm passionate about. So it's like this job. It's not really work, but I look at the money that I made, and then we talk about the statistics on how much more something costs. I worked a second job, Casey, and I'm not really sure I got ahead. That's pathetic.
What did we say? That you have to spend $11,400 on average? I think here in Indiana, it was $10,091.
Yeah, that's pathetic.
You're spending more this year than last year just for the same lifestyle?
I worked a second job. I'm not sure if I got ahead from where I was the year before. This is not to say, cry for Rob Kendall. I'm saying that's pathetic, and it shouldn't happen in this country, where if you're willing to go out and bust your ass and you're willing to work a second job or work extra hours at your other job, you should be able to be rewarded and get ahead financially from a security standpoint. And many, many people are in the same boat I am, where they've gone out and worked a second job and they're still not getting ahead. That is not a recipe for a secure, reliable society or financial structure.
So, every year the PNC Financial Services comes out with their Christmas price index, which is how much it costs for the 12 days of Christmas. And of course, as you can imagine, it's at an all-time high, $46,729.86 this year for the 12 days of Christmas. And it's an eye-popping 10.5% increase. And they go through and they list all of the things that, like the price for the 10 Lords of Leaping and the 11 Pipers Piping and the 12 Drummers Drumming have increased 4%, 6%, 6%. The 9 Ladies Dancing, however, held steady. That's because of contractual differences.
Yeah.
But I thought this was a really interesting. I mean, I can share with you the increase. Like the partridge in a pear tree went up 13%, 2 turtle doves 25%, the 3 French hens went up 3.5%. The 4 calling birds and the 5 gold rings stayed steady, which is very interesting. 6 geese of laying went up 8%. You've got the 7 swans of swimming, the 8 maids of milking, and the 9 ladies dancing all remain flat. The 10 lords of leaping went up 4%. The 11 pipers piping went up 6%, and the 12 drummers drumming went up 6%.
Who's the person who had to do the calculation on how much the pipers piping?
The pipers piping
cost.
But I thought this was an interesting take. Jesse from Fox, he read how much the cost of Kevin McAllister's groceries
I saw this.
changed since Home Alone was first released.
So you remember Home Alone when Macaulay Culkin goes grocery store shopping and he has his lists? So in 1990, he buys milk, bread, toilet paper, laundry detergent, fabric softener, cling wrap, macaroni and cheese, a turkey TV dinner, OJ, and a bag of plastic army men. Cost $20. Last year...
He used a coupon.
Maybe even less. Last year, or whatever, when $44. This year, the same exact grocery list, $72.
Where are you shopping?
Kroger. Breitbart shops at Kroger, according to this article. So you can't get out there and say things are good when they're not. They're doubling in prices.
That's interesting. I want to know, does Kroger really sell a bag of Army Men, though?
You know,
in the toy aisle?
I would say there probably was once upon a time. Does Kroger even have a toy aisle anymore?
Right. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hey, it's Rob. I started losing hair around my crown, and my hairline was starting to recede. I went to We Grow Hair Indie, and they helped grow my hair back. My friend Dave First, a sports broadcaster for over 20 years, also struggled with hair loss. Dave, what happened?
My thinning hair was bothering me. For me, I'm in the public eye. I'm a dad also, and I want to look and feel my best. And if I'm going to do something about my hair, I want to go with the best. We Grow Hair Indie. They really set the standard.
Dave, that's amazing. I had the same procedure, multi-unit hair grafting transplants, which gives you more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Call 317-522-2995 for your free hair and scalp evaluation. Find out if hair transplants or PRP is right for you.
If you're thinking about this, don't waste your time or money. Go to the experts.
Call 317-522-2995, 522-2995, or visit WeGrowHairIndie.com, the gold standard for hair restoration.
When it comes to illegal immigration, there's only one true conservative running for U.S. Senate this year. That's Trump-endorsed Jim Banks. Jim Banks has a plan, and it's simple. If you're caught in this country illegally, you're sent back to where you came from. Got that? No? Okay, well, let me repeat it. When Jim Banks is the senator, his policy on illegal immigration will be as follows. If you're in the country illegally, you're going back to where you came from. Mi casa is no longer tu casa, my friends. Jim Banks, Navy veteran, Trump endorsed. A simple plan for dealing with illegal immigration. Jim Banks for U.S. Senate. American Leadership PAC is responsible for the content of this message. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.americanleadershippac.org.
Denise has been playing jazz for 40 years. Last concert, one of the musicians fell sick with RSV. Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems. This time, she's choosing to help protect herself with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo. Abrysvo is a vaccine for the prevention of lower respiratory tract disease caused by respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, in adults 60 years of age and older. Abrysvo is not for everyone and may not protect all who receive the vaccine. Don't get Abrysvo if you've had a severe allergic reaction to its ingredients. People with a weakened immune system may have a decreased response to Abrysvo. The most common side effects are tiredness, headache, pain at the injection site, and muscle pain. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, respiratory syncytial virus vaccine. For full prescribing information, please call 1-844-989-7284 or visit abrysvo.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
What's up?
I'm tired of feeling so bloated.
That used to be me. Then I got this.
Align Bloating Relief plus food digestion. A probiotic, right?
Yeah, it works naturally with your gut to help soothe occasional bloating and gas. Plus, it has vitamin B12 to aid digestion by helping convert food to cellular energy. 2 benefits, 1 capsule.
Align Bloating Relief plus food digestion from the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Learn more at alignprobiotics.com.
Your local news in 2 minutes from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
He was a TV legend off the screen. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Norman Lear has died.
Lear's early 70s sitcoms dominated the ratings and became part of the fabric of American TV.
All in the Family, Sanford and Son, The Jeffersons, Maude, One Day at a Time, and Good Times, among others. He was also a World War II veteran, flying combat missions over Europe in a B-17 bomber before starting a successful career writing for TV shows in the 50s and then creating his own.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Norman Lear was 101. Israel's military keeps bombing Gaza in the south, going after Hamas targets, but the intense fighting is displacing more Palestinian civilians. Thousands more have died since the war started, but Tal Heinrich, spokesperson for Israel's prime minister, just told Fox.
We go to very, very, unprecedented extents to protect, safeguard the civilian population of Gaza.
2 police officers are recovering in Texas the day after being wounded in a shooting spree that left 6 people dead.
We strongly believe one suspect is responsible for all of the incidents.
Austin interim police chief Robin Henderson says that suspect's in custody facing murder charges. 4 of those killed are in Austin, 2 others in San Antonio. Former President Trump will be a no-show again at the next Republican presidential debate tonight in Alabama, where 4 Trump challengers will take the stage. He went prime time on Fox last night.
You are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
The former president telling Sean Hannity if he wins his old job back.
We're closing the border and we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator, okay?
He also predicted he doesn't think there will be a Trump-Biden rematch.
Personally, I don't think he makes it physically. I watched him at the beach. He wasn't able to lift a beach chair, which is meant for children to lift. You can lift them like that.
Now, the president at a fundraiser in Boston told donors if former President Trump wasn't running, he might not have run for re-election. He says Trump is a danger to democracy. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
He's on their list. It's mostly cloudy and 35 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Former Vice President and Indiana Governor Mike Pence is on a witness list.
In the Georgia election interference case, I'm Ryan Hedrick. The case against Pence's former boss, ex-President Donald Trump, means he could testify against Trump. Prosecutors say the same list Pence is on includes 150 other people. Pence withdrew from the 2024 election and is showing a willingness to testify against Trump, who claims the 2020 election was stolen from him. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC, Mobile News.
The feds and local law enforcement were busy serving warrants today throughout the city. The DEA and the U.S. Department of Agriculture all involved. They say it's a continuation of Operation Icebreaker, which busted a lot of meth dealers earlier this year. A man was shot while walking his dog last night on the northwest side. The call came in around 10:30 to an area near 46th and High School Road. Police got there to find a man shot in the leg. He was taken to the hospital alive and he's recovering. It's called bromezolam, and it's a drug that was made in the 1970s but has made a resurgence recently in Indiana.
We were aware on the surface of other states that were experiencing this, Ohio, Illinois.
Hamilton County Coroner Jeff Jellison, who says coroners are coming back with more toxicology reports of people dying of overdoses, and bromezolam is a culprit of that. A former pastor in northern Indiana is pleading guilty and will likely head to prison. Zachary Petrie is said to have sent sexually charged text messages and pictures to a teenage girl in his congregation. In court documents, the girl also said that he forced himself on her at one point. Petrie will be sentenced in January. It was a rough game for the Butler Bulldogs, who scratched out a win over Buffalo Tuesday evening.
Well, we weren't very good tonight, and just from the start, we weren't as sharp as we needed to be. We didn't play as hard as we needed to play.
Head coach Thad Matta, final score 72-59. Butler will look to clean things up against Cal on Saturday inside Hinkle. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. We recently saved a 50-year-old couple over $300 per month when compared to their old individual plan. We recently saved a family of 4 over $400 per month when compared to their quote on healthcare.gov. We are now entering the crazy enrollment season when our federal government will spend millions telling us that healthcare.gov is our only good option for quality health care. Whether it's called healthcare.gov, Affordable Care Act, or it's still Obamacare, don't let the federal government or their big insurance company cronies tell you that you don't have a choice. Give us a call at 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. That's 317-563-0868 or rragency.org. If you don't call us, we can't help you. Quoting the great Dr. Duke Tomato, Lord, please help our Colts. And as always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, December 6th, 5 minutes after 10 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. If you missed our last segment, we were talking about the Home Alone shopping list that Kevin did, and we questioned about Army men in Kroger, if they have those available. And somebody did confirm that, yes, there are Army men in the Kroger in Fishers.
Okay, and I got this from multiple people as well. And look, I love every single one of our listeners, and God bless you people, and you are just the light of our lives, and thank you for tuning in. However, this is another example of the issue at play here, which is we throw out societal altering, life-altering topics, and there's no response or minimal response, or in terms of passionate engagement. We ask about Army men at the Kroger, and there's just a flood of people weighing in on if there's Army men at the Kroger. Again, we appreciate the participation. We just wish there was the same passion for you getting screwed on a daily basis by your government at all levels. Thanks. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Did you get confirmation as well?
Oh, yes. Apparently, there is Adidas still a toy aisle at the Kroger, in Brownsburg.
Oh, okay.
And they have many, many likely poorly made items for a probably largely inflated price from where it was a couple of years ago.
All right. It is 7 minutes after 10. Let's talk about what's going on with your president. He told Democratic donors yesterday he wasn't confident that he'd be seeking another term if Donald Trump wasn't running for the White House. It's kind of a candid assessment, don't you think?
So wait, he basically said he's running out of spite?
If Trump wasn't running, I'm not sure I'd be running.
Wow.
That's a direct quote.
So
He said, quote, cannot let him win.
And, okay, so let's just take Biden, who Biden is, the corruption. Clearly, he was in a pay-for-play scheme with his son. Let's just take what we know about Biden out of the equation. Let's just solely focus on that quote. Do you have the quote again right there? Yeah, go read it for me again.
If Trump wasn't running, I'm not sure I'd be running. Do you want me to do it like Joe Biden?
Absolutely.
No. I'm not going to do that.
Oh, that's too bad.
Because I'm awake. If Trump wasn't running, I'm not sure I'd be running.
Okay. And then what's the end of it? We can't.
Cannot let him win.
Okay. So let's just, again, remove the names from the equation. Let's go just on the quote, and this will tell you about why our country's in the shape it's in. So you have a guy who is blessed, no matter who the person is. The person who is leading this nation is one of the most blessed people walking the face of the earth. You have been selected to lead a nation that was clearly chosen and blessed by God to do many, many amazing things on this earth. When you think about all the wealth, this country has created more wealth than the rest of the world combined in human history. This nation has freed more people than the rest of the world combined in human history. And you have been blessed to be the person who is spearheading that operation for the next 4 years. And instead of focusing on all the good you might be able to do, all the freedom you can continue to be a proponent of and help institute, all of the wealth and uplifting of fellow humans, 330 million people that you can be in charge of, and creating policies that create better lives or allow people to create better lives for themselves. His focus, the leader of the country who is blessed to be in that position, it is made very clear by him that he is running solely to stop someone else. Not for you. He's not running to better your life. He's not running to make a greater climate for you to enrich yourselves and your family and have a better existence than you had a year before or a month before or a week before or a day before. He's running to spite or stop someone else.
Yep. So he views Donald Trump as a threat to the democracy, right? Didn't he say that he was going to restore the soul of our nation?
Yes.
He was the great uniter from the basement. He was going to do all of the things. And now buckle in, kids. We've got 1 year left of his presidency.
And so much, though, of what it's interesting he used those words, though, because think about the voting. Maybe that, though, really mirrors the voting in this country. Think about how many people we hear from them and know what the Republican Party is. So we'll just use Indiana as an example. They admit to us, oh, I know. How many people did we hear when Duke of Spindingburg was up for re-election? Yeah, he's horrible, but well, we can't let that Democrat in there, so we got to vote for him. So in a that vote is to stop the other person. That is a vote to stop someone else. It's the exact same thing Joe Biden is doing. We're doing, if you're a Republican who votes for people like Diego Morales or Todd Young, and you freely admit, yes, this guy's a total buffoon and a failure, which many people did, but I can't let that office go to the Democrat, you're doing the same thing Joe Biden is doing, which is your vote is not about a betterment of your life. It's not a betterment of your existence. It's not a betterment of society 5 years from now. Your vote is the same way Joe Biden is operating, which is out of spite or stopping someone else. My goodness, what a miserable existence.
All right, so he's expected to raise about $15 million over the next 5 days in fundraising. Still fundraising for this campaign that he admittedly does not even want to do. He headlined 3 fundraisers just yesterday, and one of them was this James Taylor, You've Got a Friend in Joe. You've Got a Friend in Joe fundraiser.
No.
Tickets cost between $50 and $7,500.
Oh, that's a pretty broad difference there.
Right. Well, and then he's got the one coming up in Los Angeles later this month where it's like $500,000 if you want to be a title sponsor.
Now, I'm curious, and maybe you don't have it in front of you, but like the James Taylor, was this, he's going to get up and sing Handyman and Mexico and, Steamroller and all the hits? Or is this like James Taylor's going to do a little introduction of Biden? What exactly do I get for my $75? Because I have on multiple occasions purchased tickets to a James Taylor concert, and I'm going to tell you, if it was just a James Taylor concert, $75, it's been many, many years, but $75 is not all that bad of a...
To see James Taylor in concert.
Taylor.
Okay, so he was set to headline an event at Boston's Theater.
Oh!
So yeah, it sounds like he was probably playing at the event.
Well, hell, then I'm pretty torn on this because, again, in an intimate theater type of setting, and Kev is smiling because he can appreciate this. He is a musician. He knows what I'm about to say here. $75 for a close view of a James Taylor concert. That is not a bad price. However, you'd have to live with yourself knowing that money
it's going
went to
Joe Biden. Yeah.
Kev?
Yeah, I mean...
You get it, right?
Yeah.
You get how my brain's working here.
I think that's worth it.
You see, but would you be able to live with yourself knowing that while you got a great deal on being able to see James Taylor in an intimate setting that would probably cost you much more than $75 if you had to buy that on the street, your money's going to help Joe Biden?
Well, yeah, but it would only be worth it if he's playing the hits, like you said.
Yeah.
Like Mexico.
You could live with you could live with yourself, because you probably got to sit through some sort of Biden, like James Taylor doing some sort of pro-Biden speech.
Dig deep in your pockets, kids. We have to re-elect a great uniter.
Hey, true story. Would you like to hear my James Taylor story?
Yes.
So when I was a freshman in college, I made the grave mistake of spending a year at Indiana State University. And I also, because I was a very cost-conscious person, made the even graver mistake of deciding to live with my grandparents off of campus. Boy, you want to talk about how to never...
Not get a lot of dates? But go ahead with whatever you were going to say.
Boy, my goodness, would you like to come back to my house? I live off campus. Oh, you have your own place? No, I live with my 80-year-old grandparents. Boy, women just throw their underwear at you like it's going out of style, Casey. I went, and believe it or not, Casey, I was not always as good looking or as charismatic as I am today. Boy, it was a rough time. Anyway, James Taylor played at the Holman Center, and we were able to, my buddy Matt and I were able to somehow score like third row tickets to the James Taylor concert. And it was like they do this in arenas a lot where the floor are actual chairs. Like they kind of cut the arena in half, and then the floor are chairs, seats, and then people sit in the stands.
General admission area.
Right. So James Taylor will take an intermission, which is weird because he doesn't break a sweat the entire time he's up there, but every concert I've been to his, I think he's done this. He takes an intermission. Well, he goes, okay, hey, I'll be back in 10 minutes. Go get yourself some popcorn or whatever. Well, they don't it's James Taylor, so it's not an AC/DC concert or the Rolling Stones where there's Hell's Angels guarding the stage.
Yeah.
And he just leaves, and he left his water bottle up there. And I looked at my buddy Matt, and I said, Matt, he left his water bottle up there. And Matt said, I'm going to go get it. And I said, you can't do that. You're going to get in big trouble. He said, from who?
Yeah.
There's no one up there.
There's no security.
And so he went up there, and he stole James Taylor's water bottle.
Why didn't he grab the set list?
You know,
Kev,
that's
usually what people go for. They don't go for the water bottle.
Right. A guitar pick, maybe the capo from the guitar. No, the water bottle. What did he do with the water bottle?
Well, for years, we had this conversation. I've not talked to him in many, many years, but we used to have this conversation, and he had it on like his dresser at home for years.
This is James Taylor's water bottle.
Half-used water bottle.
As the water evaporates over the years.
I mean, so for he's married now and has kids and is probably long since tossed away. But for many, many years, we had a running joke that it was on his desk at his house.
His DNA on it.
That's right. He stole James Taylor. Anyway,
his spit. This is James Taylor's backwash.
And I was like, he comes back with that water bottle, and I was like,
you did it, man.
That is so cool. I wish I'd had the guts to go up there and do that. Like, what the hell would you actually do with the thing?
Well, you put it on your dresser, apparently. But let's get to what Donald Trump had a comment about Joe Biden saying that he was only running because Donald Trump was running. And this is what Donald Trump says. He thinks it's that Joe Biden's not going to make it.
Now, my question is, do you think in 11 months he will be their candidate?
I personally don't think he makes it, okay? I haven't said that. I'm saving it for this big town hall. I personally don't think he makes it. I think he's in bad shape physically. Do you remember when he said, I'd like to take him behind the barn? If he took me behind the barn and I went like this, I believe he'd fall over. I believe he'd fall over. Who knows?
No matter how much you dislike someone, it's a bold move to say, I think you'll be dead soon.
I don't think he's going to make it. He won't be able to. Will we have some medical situation and all of a sudden Michelle Obama or Greasy Gavin pop up at the convention? Stay tuned for that. It is 17 after 10 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Rob, this is the question of the day.
Oh.
What's a good rate on a CD today? Something like 5%?
Yeah, and that's the highest it's been in a long time.
Okay, well, your retirement guy, my retirement guy, our retirement guy, Bill Demery, he could help everybody get a better return. Instead of getting 5%, what if you could get a return that's averaged 7% a year for the past 10 years?
Public school math tells me, Casey, that's 40% better.
Yes, it is. Plus, get this. You also get an immediate 13% bonus on your investment. And it's all backed by one of the largest insurers in the world.
A 13% bonus and a 7% average return. I should give Bill a call. Luckily, I already did give Bill a call.
Yes, you did. And that was very smart of you. Absolutely. Everybody else, though, should call Bill Demery, 317-932-9912.
This 13% bonus won't last long.
You're right. So call today, 317-932-9912, 317-932-9912. Past performance is no guarantee of future returns.
God led me here to the Salvation Army.
It's a tradition of giving.
Your donation is so important.
For over a quarter century, WIBC has partnered with the Salvation Army. Your generous donations stay in central Indiana, helping Hoosiers.
Thank you, Lord, for the peace.
Find hope.
Feeding people in shelters.
The tradition continues next Friday and Saturday. The WIBC Radiothon for the Salvation Army.
Transform your home with America's Floor Source, where style meets savings. Now for a limited time, take advantage of our exclusive 18 months interest-free financing and get your home ready for the holidays. At America's Floor Source, we make it easy to upgrade your space without breaking the bank. Visit us today for 18 months interest-free financing, and our experts will help you discover the perfect flooring solution for your home.
America's Floor Source, from our showroom to your living room.
Brace yourself for the ultimate holiday deal with Consumer Cellular.
Snag an incredible 50% off the Iris Flip when you buy before December 17th, making it only $34.50. The Iris Flip is all the phone and camera you need with a user-friendly design, the perfect flip phone companion. Plus, you'll get nationwide coverage and always free activation. Score 50% off when you use promo code RADIO50. Head over to consumercellular.com and use promo code RADIO50 during checkout to score this deal.
The Renegades. Sticks. The Jukebox Heroes. Foreigner. With very special guest, John Waite. Friday, July 26th, Ruoff Music Center. Reserve seats on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com. Sticks and Foreigner. The Renegades and Jukebox Heroes Tour.
Pierce Jewelers is Carmel's full-service jewelry store where all watch repair, jewelry repair, appraisals, or custom design is done in-house. See them at piercejewelers.com.
Don't you love fall in Indy, but hate the paint? Do what your neighbor Mark did. He called Rhino Shield.
It's a two-story home built in 1992. Around 2001, looking at needing to paint, I heard a radio ad, with Rhino Shield, you won't have to paint again for another 25 years.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating, better than paint.
They're very professional. We had everything done. Everything that would typically be painted on a house was done, and it was very fast.
Our 25% off special is now extended through December, plus receive a free game console just by having Rhino Shield applied by spring of 2024.
It was done in 2001. From what I've seen on our home, they can easily offer a 25-year guarantee and not worry about it.
Remember, you have until the end of December to receive 25% off, plus get your job done by spring of 2024 and receive a free game console. Restrictions apply. Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Mr. Bellin, will you take the ceremonial shovel?
Thank you.
And dig into the symbolic dirt.
I hereby dedicate this building to myself.
Yeah! There it is.
Yeah!
It seems like a lot of money to me. Probably not to her in relation to what it's going to go for.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about Nikki Haley and how she got $250,000, a new donation to her super PAC. 22 minutes after 10 with Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC. You sound like you don't want to talk about this. You'd rather talk about James Taylor and that song.
I just remember.
I hear it.
No,
I hear it in your voice.
Okay. Casey, I'm not proud of everything I've done in life. And before I was a huge Springsteen fan, in high school, I really liked James Taylor and into college. And I might have, on a time or two, just taken James Taylor lyrics and said them to women and pretended as though
that was yours.
I said them, and it might have worked out.
You took credit for Fire and Rain. You've got a friend in me.
I mean, Fire and Rain's about a chick in a mental institution, Casey. You got to be strategic in your, use of lyrics. And I might have not cited my source. I might have led other people to believe that was in my heart. And You Got a Friend might have been, I don't know, one of those songs.
Did it work?
It's none of your business, Casey.
That's a no.
I'm not here to talk about my personal life.
Yeah, you are. That is actually part of what you get paid for. But instead, you want to talk about Nikki Haley?
No, it's fine. You know how much I love Nikki Haley, Casey. Just wow me with her general charm and charisma.
So Reid Hoffman gave her $250,000. Now, Reid Hoffman is his name.
Who is that?
He's a billionaire tech entrepreneur. LinkedIn.
Oh, right. Now, what is the purpose of LinkedIn?
It's like social media for people who can't let work go at the end of the day.
Okay, because I have a LinkedIn, but all I ever do is post my
resume.
Well, I post my resume, which obviously it hasn't changed in 6 years. Although I guess it has, because every so often it's producer, Chicks on the Right, co-host Mock and Rob Show, co-host Kendall and Casey Show. I did change it when Urban One bought us.
Yeah.
But The only thing I ever post on there is my State House Happenings show. Like each week I post a link to that. And there are people who keep, what is it called on LinkedIn? It's not friending. What is it?
Connecting.
Connecting. And I get the little message, Fred Jones wants to connect with you. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what Fred is in the media. Fred Jones is a builder at Acme Builders. Why would Fred Jones want to connect with me? We have no... Is it supposed to be for business, like business-related things?
It is supposed to be for business-related things, but maybe Fred Jones is listening to you, and that's the only social media he's on.
That's just I don't get it. In the era of social media, how does LinkedIn remain a
thing?
A thing.
Well, don't they require college students to sign up, like
What?
in like business schools?
For why?
I've
For
heard,
what
Really?
purpose?
Yeah, that's what I've heard from like my friends. They had to create LinkedIn when they were in
account.
college.
Because people put their resume there. I saw, and I think this is correct, that Hammer had his 10-year anniversary at WIBC. It popped up on my LinkedIn.
So?
Well, I wouldn't have known that.
Oh, boy.
had I not
Well, there's
seen
some
it on
life-altering information coming out of this application.
Well, that just reminds me we should say congratulations to him for that. But the guy who created LinkedIn is giving $250,000 to Nikki Haley, which is a little different because he has supported Hillary Clinton in the past and other Democrats. And he's saying anything to give her money so that Trump doesn't win.
So
this is an anti-Trump donation.
Okay, so my question is, it's not like he's Ebenezer Scrooge. He has not found the strength of 10 Grinches plus 2. He's not woken up from being visited by 3 ghosts shouting, I'll change. He's still a liberal leftist person.
He funded E. Jean Carroll's case against Donald Trump.
Okay, very good. So this is... You want to know what Nikki Haley is and what she's all about. You look at who's giving money. It's not like she's returning the donation. It's not like she's looking at this guy going, well, you're a disgusting piece of garbage. Here's your money back. No, thank you. She's willing to accept his money. This is who Nikki Haley is. She is the mainstream anointed, never Trumper candidate, right?
Yeah.
Of course, she gladly worked for Trump when it built her profile. It gave her.
You think that's on her LinkedIn resume?
Have you ever pondered what you'd do if this ended? When this ended? Have you ever pondered that? Like what you would do? Like I'm wrapping up my contract negotiations with our higher ups, and much to the dismay of the people down the street from me, it appears I'm going to be here for at least a little bit longer, which is wild because no one's listening. But I pondered, like, what would I do?
You'd go work at the golf course.
I would go work at the golf course. Yes. If tomorrow I was told your services are no longer needed here, I would go work at the golf course.
Yeah.
And I think I would be every bit as happy because this isn't. I enjoy my job, but it is not what brings me true pleasure and happiness anymore. But I'm not sure that's sustainable for the long term. Like I might in the short term go work there. But have you ever pondered what your existence would be if you
no longer worked here at WIBC?
If you no longer worked here at WIBC.
If they came and uninvited me one day. You know what I would do? You know what I would do, Rob?
What would you do?
I would say, I'm going to take a few days off.
I don't have to work with Rob anymore. You know what I
Where
might...
are the streamers? Where are the balloons?
You know what I might do, Casey?
What?
And I would have to wait a little bit, is my understanding. But I might go somewhere and read the news. And no matter how well I read the news, I would never read the news as good as Kurt Darling.
Yes, he's fantastic at it. And we're going to let him prove that next on 93 WIBC.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family heating and air.
Hey, this is Malia. We often get asked when is the best time to buy, and the answer is today, not tomorrow. With rising utility costs, rising product costs, and missed opportunity costs, which you could be saving with a high-efficiency system. Give us a call today to schedule your free in-depth estimate, 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
He changed TV. It's mostly cloudy and 36 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. A TV legend has died. Fox's Tanya J. Powers.
His website says writer, producer, developer Norman Lear passed away on Tuesday of natural causes. Lear's early 70s sitcoms dominated the ratings and became part of the fabric of American TV. All in the Family, Sanford and Son, The Jeffersons, Maude, One Day at a Time, and Good Times, among others. Norman Lear was 101. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Senate Republicans are considering blocking funding to Ukraine in a dispute over border security. A key procedural vote is expected today on a bill that would provide over $60 billion to Ukraine for military and foreign aid. Republicans are expected to block that legislation, though, because the package does not include immigration reforms. And in the semifinals of the NBA in-season tournament, well, they're set in the Eastern Conference Finals, the Eastern Conference semifinal, rather. The Milwaukee Bucks will be taking on the Indiana Pacers, while in the West, the Los Angeles Lakers will be squaring off with the Phoenix Suns. Both games in Las Vegas tomorrow. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
At Absolute Wealth Management, LLC, we understand that your retirement and taxes are inseparable. And if you're over 50, we're offering a special deal to kickstart your financial journey in 2024. You can have your 2023 tax return prepared and filed, including Schedules A, B, and D, for just $79.95. This can be the start of a lifelong profitable partnership with Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. All our retirement planning clients will continue to receive the substantial discount for tax filing and preparation as part of our ongoing retirement marathon that focuses on protecting everything you've worked so hard to build while still providing growth to help elevate your lifestyle in retirement. Take absolute control of your retirement. Call us now at 317-288-0634, 317-288-0634, or visit AbsoluteWealthManagementLLC.com. Investment advisory services offered through Gradient Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Gradient Advisors, LLC, and its advisors do not render tax, legal, or accounting advice.
Good morning, it's Casey, and you know my friends at Galaxy Concrete Coating have decided to donate up to $1,000 for WIBC's radiothon, which is coming up on Friday. So because they're doing a nice thing for our community, I wanted to tell you the nice things that they can do for your house. They offer a chip system. It's stylish, it's durable, and they have a variety of patterns and colors, and it's great for any concrete you have around your house, whether it's the driveway, the patio, pool deck coating. They're still working even as the temperatures drop. So call them today, 317-751-9070. Find them online, galaxyconcretecoatings.com. And by the way, if you'd like to get a jump start on donating to WIBC's Radiothon, just go to WIBC.com and click on the page with my face on it.
Beat the holiday cleaning rush with Zerorez. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $139 plus a free hallway. Call 388-5141 or book online at zeroresindy.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatments at 317-559-PAIN.
Listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. The phone number for your voicemails, 317-684-8444. It is 10:33. We love hearing from you, of course. Now, yesterday, Rob, we shared a letter that I had received from James, who is our friend at the Plainfield Correctional Facility.
He's in there.
Yeah, he's in there. And he wrote a very interesting letter to us this time.
He attached a magazine wish list fully filled out. Mm-hmm. And I love that you touched that with your bare hands.
I did. And, well, the magazines were questionable, in my opinion. I'm sure it's what he was really into. But you had asked the question, does somebody read the mail as it goes out?
Yes, that's right. I did ask that.
Does it get approved by the guards there in the prison?
Because I was curious. I said somebody has to be reading outgoing and incoming mail. I'm not saying they could, as long as there's nothing criminal in the correspondence, that they would deny sending it out. But somebody has to make sure that, hey, we're not plotting escape from Alcatraz here. I would think somebody has to be monitoring the mail.
Right. Well, we've got an answer.
Oh, great.
Okay, somebody called to let us know.
I've never considered myself a know-it-all, but I do know a little bit about everything. And to answer your question about the penal system, if you send a birthday card, they do a photocopy of it, and that's what the prisoner gets. The letters that you send, they get a photocopy, and that's what the prisoners get. They don't write with an ink pen. They write with what holds the ink inside, like a Bic ink pen, the little flimsy plastic thing with the ball tip on it. But, it's very strict because people, if you were allowed to get a birthday card, hypothetically, somebody would spray that down with meth or, some kind of hallucinant, whatever, or, pot oils. And then they just eat the letter or the birthday card up, and they get a buzz. That's why everything that you send them is photocopied, and that's why they're only able to order anything from the commissary. And to get sheets of paper, probably 30 sheets cost you $10.
Wow.
A Snickers candy bar cost you $5, minimum. A little 2-ounce thing of shampoo is like $8. Life's not easy in prison. I've not been there, thank God, and I hope I never will be. But there's a little bit of the ends that you can pass on to everybody or think about yourself. You have a good day. Bye.
Yeah, we were wondering about that because he used like a form that it looked like the guards would use to fill out paperwork on as his paper, and then he had a card, and then the magazine subscription paper, and he wrote on all of it like he didn't have a lot of paper available to him.
So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so there you go.
This is why our audience is just the best audience. Where else are you going to get that sort of information?
We've got another phone call about this. Somebody wanted to give us an answer.
Your comment on the letter from James. Yes, the mail is read before it is sent out to make sure nothing is going out, and it's also looked at when it comes in.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So if you were to see this, so my question is, James had requested several magazines. They appeared to be of a scantily clad nature.
Yes.
He had already filled out the address information. All he needed you to do was to
cut the check. Yeah.
Would they allow James to have the magazine then?
Right.
I'm assuming James has been there long enough that he would know the rules, but are we getting or is some prison guard going to have to
every single page,
these scantily clad women?
Right.
Like, hey, Earl, your job today is to scan the nudie mag.
Photocopy. And really, if it's just a black and white piece of paper, is it as exciting?
I don't know. I mean, this is why I try to walk the straight and narrow, Casey, because I fear what life would be like in the prison system.
What this is telling me is that some guard over there at Plainfield Correctional read that letter from James to me before it got to me, so that guard knows that James wanted me to order him magazines.
Well, I think you let the cat out of the bag when you said it on these very public, powerful airwaves. But yes, indeed. I think, yes. Because all the phone calls, to me, it was just common sense because all the phone calls are monitored.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you see this all the time on crime TV or court TV or whatever, where, Fred was in the clear and then he made a phone call to his wife and where he admitted to doing the crime.
Well, no, I'm not saying that it's a secret that James is corresponding with me. I'm saying that now that guard thinks that I'm the type of person who's going to order that magazine for James.
Oh, you're not?
No.
You're going to let
I even told James that. I'm not going to do that for you.
You're going to let James sit alone this Christmas season. Boy.
NMJ, Rob, not my job.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. This next call is a fella who calls often and very opinionated, and he's got some thoughts about a lot of things. The primary, the Gavin Newsom, Ron DeSantis debate, and
so it's just the ramblings of a madman. Is that what you're telling me?
I don't think he's a madman. I think he thinks about this probably as often as you do.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the upcoming, more of the Republican primary. First of all, I did hear that North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum dropped out, and while I'm sure most people describe him as a boring, not worthwhile candidate, I actually thought he was good for the most part. He wasn't my first choice, but I feel like if he had been nominated, he actually wouldn't have been too bad. So I'm kind of sad to see him drop out because he was probably one of the most civilized of all the candidates in the first two debates. Speaking of the debates, I wanted to comment also about the upcoming primary debate. But first, the Gavin Newsom debate, Ron DeSantis won that easily, in my opinion. Gavin Newsom, all he could do was mudslinging, and all it took was the poop map, and it was over right then and there. But number two, the upcoming primary debate from News Nation, I do think this is exciting to see. Now, I know there's going to be 4 candidates. It will be Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Vivek, and Chris Christie. Now, I think that Donald Trump really should get on the debate stage. I feel like because the thing is, Donald Trump, I don't think he's doing himself any favors by skipping the debates. He might think it's just because, he's up at the polls. But the polls, if he trusts the polls as much as Hillary did in 2016, I think history is going to end up repeating itself. So all I can say is this is a missed opportunity for Donald Trump if he wants to win more votes. I think Ron DeSantis will probably pull off his own. I think he did a really good job in the third debate, and the second debate was where I think it was the biggest highlights, especially when Nikki Haley tried to go after him. I think he did a good job, and I'm pointing out that she probably wants to frack and drill in the Everglades. And I'll just put it to this way for Hoosiers: if you love the outdoors, you think Nikki Haley's going to stop with the Everglades? She'll get to Brown County State Park before it's all said and done.
I think that he wants to fill in for you when you're on vacation.
This is the guy I was confused at the beginning. I was thinking it was the guy who every phone call is about Trump, that one dude.
Yeah.
This is the guy. We're okay with this guy. He's the guy who called Todd Young the Duke of Spendenberg on C-SPAN. So we're okay with him. However, I have now determined, Casey, what our voicemail segment has become. Remember back in the day, there used to be the Dear Penthouse section where people would just write random thoughts and would, send them in.
No, tell me more, Rob. What are you talking about?
Oh my goodness. If you know, you know, right? And that's kind of what our voicemail segment has become. We are the audio version of essentially Dear Penthouse, where people just come and talk about just kind of whatever's, on their mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, did you see that mayor from Montreal passed out on live TV?
Yes, you were telling me all about this. Just a straight flop.
Valerie Plant is her name.
Her name is Plant, and she planted on live TV.
She did. This is what it sounded like.
Direct them to other kinds of services. So I would
There she went. Oh no. She knew it was coming too.
Yeah.
She could feel it.
Now, have they determined what the issue was? She just underhydrated?
Well, okay, so this is what they're saying, that her workload was too heavy, and she's going to reduce her workload over the next few days.
My favorite thing
She's now doing fine, they say.
My favorite thing about this show is we got to get Kevin a camera, because Kev will smile at me when he has a vague inkling what I'm about to say. So, Kev, I too have done this before after a heavy workload. It was usually about 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
You know when it's coming, don't you?
Yeah.
One of the keys, Casey, and I know when you drink that $9,000 bottle of wine that you peruse for at the bar, you probably don't ever get a little inebriated.
Are you saying she was drunk?
What? No. What I'm just saying is, having been here before, one of the keys, and Kev will back me up on this, one of the real keys to being a pro when it comes to engaging in certain behaviors is being able to spot when the end is near and being able to find yourself a comfortable place by which you don't embarrass yourself. So, like for me, for example, I knew that it would generally take me about 5 minutes to get to the parking garage, and thus I had to give myself about a 15-minute leeway. So at 2:30, if I knew the end was near, I had to give myself a 15-minute leeway, and that's part of being you recognize what I'm talking about here, being a trained professional.
You're talking about a little night out on the town.
Yeah, I'm saying, well, even if it's in town, if you got to get to your bedroom, wherever, you just got to. Yeah. This lady just didn't plan this out properly, and that was part of her problem. She should have wrapped it up about 10 minutes earlier, and she'd have been fine. She could have, her couch or wherever that might have been in a back room, and she wouldn't have had
rather than the floor behind a podium.
Right, exactly.
When she was speaking.
I'm just worried about Casey. Ever since you started making her do the template, I feel like you're increasing the workload.
On me?
Yeah.
And I'm going to pass out one of these days?
You.
It's probably going to happen, Kevin. It's probably going to happen. Hammer's joining us next on Kendall and Casey, 93 WIBC. Rob, this is a question that only you can answer.
Oh, how exciting.
Because it involves math, and I know how smart you are.
Did you know that I did so well in math? No, I didn't do well in math at all. But go ahead, Casey, put me on the spot, embarrass me.
Okay, what's a good rate on a CT today? Something like 5%?
Yeah, and that's actually the highest it's been in a very long time.
You know, your retirement guy, Bill Demery, could help you do way better. Instead of getting 5%, what if you could get a return that's averaged 7% a year for the past 10 years?
Well, that sounds like it's about 40% better. How would you like that I did that off the top of my head, or it was on the paper we're reading right now?
Plus, get this, you get an immediate 13% bonus on your investment. And it's all backed by one of the largest insurers in the world, Bill Demery.
Yeah, 13% bonus and a 7% average return. You should give Bill a call because I gave Bill a call.
Absolutely. Call Bill Demery, 317-932-9912.
This 13% bonus won't last long.
No, it won't, but call him today, 317-932-9912. That's 317-932-9912. And past performance is no guarantee of future returns.
Big Hammer and Nigel show this afternoon. The great Bill O'Reilly joins us, and we have the finals of Biden Madness. 3 to 7, 93 WIBC.
You've heard about the thousands of patients finally getting relief from chronic joint pain thanks to QC Kinetics non-invasive treatments. Meet Vicky, a patient from right here in Nineveh.
The orthopedic surgeon said, well, you're going to need knee replacement sooner rather than later. I kept hearing commercials about QC Kinetics and thought, well, I'm going to check them out first.
QC Kinetics has treated over 20,000 patients like Vicky around the country. People who were told they needed surgery but chose a more natural, less invasive approach that uses regenerative treatments to help heal and restore painful joints with no downtime.
If QC Kinetics had not been what I expected, I would have gone through with the surgery, but I got so much relief, am now pretty much pain-free that I don't have to have the surgery.
Before going under the knife, you need to check out QC Kinetics. The consultation is free. Call today.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. In Eagle Creek, Greenwood, and Carmel. 317-559-PAIN.
If you need to sell your home during the holidays, quick, fast, and guaranteed is what you want. Make selling your home easy without sacrificing profit by calling Mark Deedle. Perhaps you're worried about settling for less money with a low-ball instant offer. Mark Deedle guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed-upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Cindy and George in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Deedle. A job relocation with a hard start date had us scrambling to get our house sold fast. Mark launched his intense marketing plan, and he got multiple offers. We sold for the price we needed in plenty of time to move with money in our pocket for our next home. Call for all the details. Call the agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Deedle, 317-755-4232, or go online to markdeedle.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com. Again, that's 317-755-4232 or markdeedle.com. Tell him Rob sent you.
Are your health insurance premiums making you sick? George and Megan at yourcoverage.net can help. George and Megan have helped countless individuals and families save 30 to 60% on health insurance with superior coverage. George recently saved a family of four $800 a month with the Aetna Network $0 deductible and $0 doctor office copay plan. This is not a government-sponsored health insurance plan. So if you're uninsured, recently lost your job, on COBRA, or are paying extremely high rates for Obamacare or your work coverage, George and Megan will help you if you meet the flexible guidelines for health insurance. Yourcoverage.net will provide you the best coverage at the lowest rate. Their goal is to give you peace of mind and the utmost in healthcare. Go to yourcoverage.net and see for yourself, or better yet, call George and Megan at 1-800-491-5500. That's 1-800-491-5500. Or go to yourcoverage.net. That's yourcoverage.net, a premium personalized healthcare plan managed and designed by you, not the government.
Cutting it close with last-minute gift shopping? Helzberg has you covered. It's Helzberg Diamonds must-have holiday sale. Up to 50% off on dazzling lab-grown diamond hoops and stacking bands, diamond pendants, and tennis bracelets. Get the perfect gifts for that special someone. Last-minute shopping has never been so joyful. So don't wait. Head to a Helzberg store near you or Helzberg.com. Offer valid through December 24th. While supplies last, see online or in-store for details.
My husband, Bob, has Parkinson's, and he needs more help now, and I need more support to help him. Thanks to Indiana Pathways for Aging, we're getting the support we need to help him right here at home, like with meal prep and basic personal care, and even respite support for me.
Pathways provides Hoosier Medicaid members, age 60 and over, support for care their way, so they can live life their way. The program begins in summer of 2024. Call 87-PATHWAY-4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
The next generation of streaming is here. Introducing Spectrum One Stream. Get 300 megabit internet for $49.99 a month, including advanced Wi-Fi, and one unlimited mobile line free for 12 months. And when you add Spectrum TV, get a Xumo Stream Box free for 12 months. Spectrum One Stream. It's streaming simplified. Visit spectrum.com for details. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
There's a lot of sexy content on the internet. And there's WIBC, full of faces meant for radio. Hammer and Nigel, Kendall and Casey. Okay, Casey could be on TV. Now streaming every day on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/WIBC.
I got into town a little early. Had 8 hours to kill before the show.
9 minutes in front of 11 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Then I knew where I had to go.
You probably just want me to just do the segment.
You just want to listen to the music?
Well, I mean, it's half your show. I mean, if you want to just...
You said you had something you wanted to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Yes, it is the Kendall and Casey show. Hello, Hammer's not here today.
Mm-hmm.
He's somewhere.
And he did let us know that he wasn't going to be in today, and we forgot.
Yeah, we totally forgot because that's the sort of people we are. So Kev has had a life-altering couple of weeks, and I've been kind of going back and forth on this, on whether he has put himself in a premium social position or a just terrible social position. And I keep kind of I'm like ping-ponging back and forth on this. And so I thought maybe you might like to hop in on this with Kev, or maybe our audience can as well, because I've just been racking my brain on this for several nights now, and I just change my mind as often as I change my underwear on this. So Kev has moved into a new dig, and it's very palatial estate, not quite as big as the place you're living in these days.
I've seen pictures, actually video. It's really cool.
Yeah, I took a video of it, and it was kind of me doing like a little virtual tour
yeah, sure,
of the
absolutely.
apartment. And yeah, she saw the whole thing.
Okay, so this is... Kev has moved into a university community, and however, it is
I don't know. I don't even think of it as a college town, but there is a college.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You have moved into a university community.
A small college.
There is a small college that is associated with the community in which you live. And at first, when Kev said he was moving there, because, Kev is in his late 20s, he's got disposable income, he's a musician. I said, wow, Kev, this is going to be perfect for you because of all the college women that will be literally walking right past your palatial estate, and you have, in an ingenious stroke of brilliance, just carved out a perfect niche for yourself in the social world. However, then last night I started doing the math. I looked up what the enrollment was in said university.
It's small.
Yeah, it's like 1,000-ish people.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And so then I did the math and said, okay, I don't know what the actual divide is, but if we cut that in half, that's 500 women.
Right.
Right? Because in my initial mind, it was like, oh my gosh, there's thousands of women. They have just nowhere to go because they're kind of locked into this university community.
And at universities, there tends to be more women than guys.
Yeah.
Right? So it'd probably be a little bit more.
60-40.
So let's say 60-40. So let's peg it at 600 women, right?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So then I started kind of backtracking on my... Kev's cheering that it's 60-40.
The numbers are good.
Then I started backtracking, and I thought, okay, if 60% are women... This is not Florida State we're talking about here. This is not USC. So it's not like we're talking about just a string of 8s, 9s, and 10s that are from our pool of choosing. So if we said maybe 10% are Broad Ripple 7 or above. Likely no 10s, probably maybe a couple of 9s. But if we gave credit on the high side and said 7, let's say 10%, it's probably more like 5, but 10% were Broad Ripple 7s or above, that would leave you with only really 60 women in the entire college community to choose from. If we say half of them probably have boyfriends because this is an academic institution, and an institution that thrives or is proud of their academics. So you're probably many of them coming from stable environments. So half of them have boyfriends. Kev, now you're down to 30 women. 30 women that are a Broad Ripple 7 or above.
He just ruined it for you, didn't he?
Yeah,
however,
well, you know what? That just means there's some hope.
Yeah. However, then I started extrapolating this more, and then I realized, however, because it is a somewhat isolated community where people are bound to stay and be, that while it limits the amount of college 7s that are college women that are 7s and above, there is an opportunity if you're
local.
Well, if you're willing to embark in social engagement with the towny floozies. There's probably some fairly decent-looking towny lifer floozies who never got out of this community who also might be still relatively well assembled.
Yeah, and I've spent a lot of time in this community before
at the Mexican restaurant downtown.
Yeah, and some local drinking holes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what are we putting it? We're putting it up to 50 women, maybe?
Yeah, let's put it at 50 because there are some attractive older women there.
Yeah. And I've told Kev he's in his prime dating world because literally anyone between the ages of say 20 and 35
qualify.
He's fine. Like you would look at that and say that is absolutely fine, no problem. So Kev, you are in the wheelhouse of both the 30 available college women that are Broad Ripple 7s and above and the 20 towny floozy women who are Broad Ripple 7s and above. So you are in your prime window here, my friend.
So I made the right move.
I think you did, given maybe the income limitations you have as a radio show producer. I think you've done about as well for yourself as you possibly could with the living arrangement that you came with.
I might be getting a Christmas bonus. Who knows?
Well, you guys have worked the numbers financially, so you're okay.
Yeah,
it's a really
budgeted
cool
out.
place. Hardwood floors, brick walls.
Aren't you impressed? I spent all night on this, all night coming up with that.
That's impressive.
Solve my problems next. Do me, okay? You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Play it out just once more.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You only have one heart, so let's keep it near everyone it beats for. Franciscan Health is leading the way as the only hospital in Indiana to be recognized as one of HealthGrade's 100 best hospitals for cardiac care and coronary intervention in 2024. We're delivering award-winning heart care in your neighborhood, near everyone you love, because our greatest reward is caring for you. Learn more about our compassionate, patient-focused approach to heart care. Visit us at franciscanhealth.org/heartcare.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey. Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Life is a collection of moments that last forever, so make them matter and make them count with a symbol of everlasting love. A diamond from Pierce Jewelers. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Coming up in 2 minutes, what they were looking for again, plus the tough questions for an Ivy League president from your member of Congress. And this drug from the 70s is back, and coroners are trying to get the word out. I'm Kirk Darling. That and more coming up from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios after Fox News Radio at the top of the hour. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
The first in the U.S. related to Russia's war in Ukraine. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Attorney General Merrick Garland announcing charges filed
under the U.S. War Crimes Statute against 4 Russia-affiliated military personnel for heinous crimes against an American citizen.
They're accused of torture. And Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas says
there is no higher responsibility of government than to safeguard its people and their basic human rights.
Now, as far as Ukraine goes, its president keeps urging American lawmakers to greenlight more U.S. military aid. Money already approved runs out at the end of the year.
The Senate could have a test vote today on President Biden's emergency spending package that includes billions in aid to Ukraine and Israel, but Republicans have insisted on border security policy changes.
That's Fox's Ryan Schmelz. The bombardment continues in Gaza.
Israel is not committing war crimes. Right. Israel is abiding by international law.
And as they target Hamas leaders, Tal Heinrich, a spokesperson for the prime minister, tells Fox they're going out of their way to protect Palestinian civilians who've been displaced fleeing the fighting, though thousands have been killed. She also calls out women's groups for being silent about allegations Israeli women were raped in the Hamas terror attack.
It wasn't a bug in the October 7th plan. It was a feature of it. And at the United Nations this week, we also played excerpts from interrogations of terrorists that Israel arrested admitting to that, which is sick.
A television legend has died.
Well, we're moving on now.
Norman Lear created some of the biggest TV shows of the 1970s, like The Jeffersons, All in the Family, and Maude, and Sanford and Son. Norman Lear wrote and produced about 100 shows, winning Emmys and other awards. He was 101. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
More busts by the feds. It's mostly cloudy and 37 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. The feds and local law enforcement were busy serving warrants today throughout the city. The DEA and the U.S. Department of Agriculture all involved. They say it's a continuation of Operation Icebreaker, which busted a lot of meth dealers earlier this year. Prosecutors have added former Vice President and Indiana Governor Mike Pence's name to a witness list in an election interference trial. Ryan Hedrick reports.
The case in Georgia is against Pence's former boss, ex-President Donald Trump. Trump says the 2020 election was stolen from him. Pence has repeatedly said the Georgia election was not stolen from him and that he had no right to overturn the results, which is exactly what Trump wanted him to do. Pence has suggested that he would testify against Trump, who is the frontrunner for the 2024 GOP presidential nomination. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
University of Pennsylvania President Liz McGill was questioned by an Indiana congressman Tuesday.
Why did Penn let Professor Ahmad Amala off the hook, who led hundreds of students in chanting, "There's only one solution, Intifada revolution"? Why does that professor still have a job at your university?
Jim Banks, during a congressional hearing, he accused McGill of allowing Penn's campus to turn into a hotbed of anti-Semitism. McGill says the university's free speech policies are guided by the U.S. Constitution. A street drug that was denied medical approval in the 1970s is being found in Indiana again. Hamilton County Coroner Jeff Jellison tells Wish TV it is bromazolam, and it has the nickname Bro.
Getting it in pill form, powder form, gummy form. It's really being manufactured by black market internet pharmacies.
And he says it's being sold as Xanax on the black market. The Indiana Pacers will be facing the Milwaukee Bucks in the in-season tournament semifinals in Vegas tomorrow. The Bucks beat the Knicks last night, 146-122. The Pacers left for Vegas yesterday after beating Boston on Monday in the quarterfinals. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning eternity band, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer, or maybe you're looking for that perfect engagement ring or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have the perfect gifts for the season, starting at around $300. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas, see the online seasonal gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, December 6th, 5 minutes after 11. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So I know what I will be doing tonight. What about you? Will you be watching the fourth debate?
Oh, no, Casey. You know, we had this conversation before that it took me nearly 2 years, but my life has gone full circle. And of course, what I'm referring to is it was well known on this show that Mock did all of the actual work, and I showed up and just brought the personality and the charm and the charisma. And now it's taken me 2 years, but we are back there again where, because you're such a control freak, you are very excited about doing all of the actual work. And I will no doubt look forward. I mean, okay, it's a thing and it's happening, but at this point, and you have to watch it. It's part of your job. And what a sucker, you agreed to take the template a couple months ago, and
I was voluntold, by the way.
You walked right into that trap. And for those of you who don't know, here's how I worded it to Casey. And this is not verbatim how the conversation went, but it's pretty close. I approached Casey and I said, you know, Casey, you have grown so much in this position over the past 18 months, and I have just been amazed at how well you have adapted to the city of Indianapolis and central Indiana, and just how well you really get the politics, both locally and nationally. And I just feel like, because I'm, so neurotic and such a control freak, that I've really just hogged the authority of the show. And, as a giving person, I want you to have the opportunity to blossom. And as such, I'd like you to start doing the template.
Yeah.
And you did the typical girl thing. Oh my gosh, that's what I always wanted. Thanks for believing.
That's not how it went down at all.
And so now you gotta watch this stupid thing, and I'll be passed out in a ditch somewhere.
Okay, so it's going to be on News Nation, and it's also going to be It's going to be broadcast on ABC's going to do a live blog of the action.
Can you think of anything more boring than watching a live blog of the presidential for these four people bickering at each other?
I don't know if I even have News Nation. If I'll be able to watch it, I might have to get it on the internet somehow.
Well, and now, so think about this is even worse. Not only are you going to subject yourself to this, you're going to have to put effort.
I know. Now I'm going to have to find out if I have the News Nation to be able to watch it.
Okay, so let's all kidding aside. Boy.
This assignment's getting bigger and bigger.
Who is actively watching this other than political nerds tonight? And because who is undecided at this point? If you're someone who's into politics enough that you're going to watch the fourth presidential debate in which the overwhelming front runner is not participating, who is that person?
Right. And Chris Christie, you can just mark him off because you know his talking points already. You know he's going to be Trump bashing, anti-Trump. What do you expect different from Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley or Vivek that you haven't already heard?
Nothing. That's my point. What they are? These people are politicians for the most part, generally because of their lack of authenticity. So a big part of rising in politics for many, many people, not every single one, of course, but many, many people, is a total lack of authenticity, because we live in an environment where a very select group of powerful people often control who rises and who dies in politics. And when you're subservient or beholden to a very select group of people, then you can't really be authentic because you're being whatever you think those people want you to be.
You're saying what you think wants to be heard.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
And so when you do that, you can't just turn it on and turn it off, right? And so you really lose yourself. You almost, in a sense, become a professional wrestler. And by that, I mean, Hulk Hogan his real name is not Hulk Hogan, right? His real name is Terry Bollea. However, it is, the meme where everything morphs together. There is no separation because he's been Hulk Hogan for so long that the dude wears bandanas and flip-flops and Bermuda shorts and fanny packs and tank tops wherever he goes and calls everybody dude, brother, and Jack. Like there is no delineation between Terry Bollea and Hulk Hogan anymore. It's the same thing in politics. When you lose your authenticity, you can't turn it on and turn it off. So you get people on stage who have morphed into whatever they needed to be to rise up the ladder. So Ron DeSantis, great politics, great public policy, but comes off as totally plastic and inauthentic because he has played inside a system where that's how you rise up the ladder. You don't show emotion. You don't show passion. You don't connect well with others. That's not what. So it's not like he's going to be able to go out there and go, I have solved the problem. And boy, I'm going to be the guy that you'd love to go to the bar with tonight. Nikki Haley, she clearly has immense disdain for regular people, which is why when you let her talk long enough, what was her thing? We're going to figure out who everyone on the internet is. We're going to hold you people, you peasants accountable. That's who she is. Chris Christie, he is a bloviating, blowhard buffoon. You're going to turn that on or off. And Chat GPT guy,
Vivek
Ramaswamy, comes off as a dude who, while a great salesman at selling you used stereo equipment out of the trunk at the high school parking lot, that's what he is. You can't turn that on or turn that off. The bet has been made. So what are we going to get out of tonight that we don't already have?
One thing we're not going to get is Donald Trump. He's going to be fundraising. He won't be at the event. By the way, News Nation will also be live streaming it on the internet. But here's something interesting about this is that the RNC appears to have let Chris Christie in, even though he didn't seem to clear all of their polling requirements. So they're kind of bending on that one. They took a survey that was done back in September to let him qualify because, there's this threshold of polling that they all have to meet. He didn't meet it, but they're like, you know what? We'll use this one back from September where you did meet it.
He looked at them, and when they told him no, he was like, do you remember 21st night of September?
Okay, well,
what a joke! Wait. What a joke. This whole thing is a clown show. The guy didn't even meet the stupid little requirement that they had, which what is it? It's not like you got to be at 15%. What is it, 6?
Yep. Yes.
And 6%. He didn't meet it, and they're just like,
it's okay.
Nobody's listening anyway. Just 3 is not going to be enough on stage, so just let the big guy up there.
I like Megyn Kelly. I'll be interested to see what she comes up with, what questions she asks, and how much she goes back to Donald Trump because of their relationship.
My favorite Megyn Kelly. So remember when Trump ran for president the first time? So this was 2015. There was something that happened between him and Megyn Kelly, and it went back quite a ways. Something happened shocking with Trump, right? And she was the moderator of, maybe it was the first debate or the second debate, one of the two. I don't remember. She was still at Fox News, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
And she's up there, and she asks him something. Of course, he doesn't want to be asked. And, they get into it. And then Trump gets asked about this afterwards. And he goes something to the effect of, yeah, I don't know what was going on with her. She was very mean or whatever. And he goes, yeah, she was bleeding badly from
her face,
her eye, or whatever. Like he wanted to say it. and then he caught himself in the middle of it, and the first thing that came to his mind was her eye.
Her eye.
She was bleeding badly from...
Well, he realized the cameras were on him, and he couldn't say that. Yeah. So you've got the two top polling candidates on stage besides Donald Trump, and that is Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis. Of course, they're going to take aim at each other. And I feel like it's going to be, you remember that old cartoon, Hey, Spike, Spike, with the little dogs? There was the big dog and the little dog.
What are you talking
about? And the
about?
little dog was always chasing the big dog, and he was saying, Hey, Spike, Hey, Spike.
What?
I feel like Vivek is going to be the little dog.
I don't remember any of this. What network was that on? Was this something in the 60s you guys watched?
Oh, I'm sure it was a Hanna-Barbera cartoon, Rob.
Spike?
Yes, yes, somebody remembers that.
Wait, what was that for?
It was the Bulldogs.
What
it was a
brand
bulldog.
was it for?
Wait, what are you talking about? Wait, Spike, I'm looking up here
Now I'm
right
curious.
now. Spike cartoon dog.
You don't believe me.
Are you talking about the one on Tom and Jerry?
Yeah. Yeah, the little...
Why didn't you say Tom and Jerry? Do you remember that cartoon dog? The show is Tom and Jerry, Casey.
No, not Tom and not the cat and the mouse.
Chester and Spike?
What are you talking about?
You guys are...
Yeah, I'm just Googling things, and I'm...
Tom and Jerry's a cat and a mouse.
But there was a dog
right
on Tom and Jerry.
I don't remember the dog's name. Except
So this is
I remember
not Tom
the little dog chasing out. Wow. The point is...
Was this in black and white? Did Dick Clark used to come on and introduce this cartoon?
No. Let's talk about Nikki Haley, okay? I'm totally changing the subject.
No. Let's take a break because I want you to find proof of whatever this thing is you're talking about.
You don't believe me?
No,
I'm not making up a cartoon,
It's not that I don't believe you. It's just we're finding no, proof of this on a quick Google search.
You said there were two dogs?
You guys.
There were two black and white dogs.
I'll find the dogs. I will find the dogs. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
The National Toy Hall of Fame has announced its new class. Baseball cards, Cabbage Patch Kids, Fisher-Price Corn Popper, that little thing you push, and Nerf.
Nerf?
Nerf made it in.
I think I'm good with the list. Literally, I think a stick is in the National Toy Hall of Fame.
It is.
Who didn't make it?
Slime. It's a staple of Nickelodeon.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
It is the Christmas season, and what a great time if you're looking for a new church home or even a first church home to check out my friends at Life Church. Life Church would so love the opportunity to meet and welcome you and your family this Christmas season. And the great thing about Life Church is they've got convenient campuses all across central Indiana. You've got Noblesville, Fishers, Pendleton, Eagle Creek, and the great thing about Life Church is they have just out-of-this-world online services. You can learn more all about it, but whatever you do, however you go, give them a shot. Check them out, lifechurchin.com. Learn more about it all, lifechurchin.com.
My name is Donita, and I cared for my mother for 8.5 years. There were times where I was like, I can't do this alone. Then I found CareForth. They gave me the resources and the confidence to care for Mom at home. They even paid me. I'm so happy I was able to care for Mom, but even more grateful I wasn't alone. When I say they're like family, I mean it.
Caring for a loved one at home? Get support and get paid by visiting careforth.com. That's careforth.com.
Immerse yourself in premium nationwide coverage, contract-free plans, and always-free activation with Consumer Cellular, now at your local Target. While you're there, check out our newest phone, the Iris Flip. It's all the phone and camera you need, plus it features a user-friendly design, making it the perfect flip phone. From now to December 16th, you can score $10 off when you buy the Consumer Cellular Iris Flip at Target, making it only $39.99. Visit your nearest Target for the full scoop.
Is your Generac home standby generator overdue for annual maintenance or an oil change? Schedule an inspection with a certified tech at Generator Supercenter to ensure your Generac generator is ready when you need it most. GeneratorSupercenter.com.
Pierce Jewelers is Carmel's full-service jewelry store where all watch repair, jewelry repair, appraisals, or custom design is done in-house. See them at piercejewelers.com.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show.
Dale Griffith, how the hell are you?
Well, I'm still $1 million shy of being a millionaire.
On 93 WIBC.
How old are you?
What are you talking about?
What I jokingly said was that what you kids watched in the 60s, and it turns out this is not even from the 60s. This is the 50s.
Well, it was still airing in the 70s.
So if you missed
Doesn't mean I saw it when it first came out.
It started in 1952, I believe.
Okay.
So if you missed last segment, Casey randomly started talking about some yapping dog named Spike.
Well, she was saying Vivek was like
in the debate,
Spike.
Vivek Ramaswamy will be like Spike.
Or no, you were saying he was like Chester, the Jack Russell.
The little dog who
Yeah.
wants to play with Spike, the big dog.
Right.
So Vivek is the little dog, and he's trying to keep up with DeSantis and Nikki Haley.
Yeah, he's got Jack
in the-
Russell energy.
Yes, he's going to be like, hey guys, let me play.
And so I'd never heard of this, and so Kevin had guessed a name, right? You had done some quick research. And
Yeah, I said Spike and Chester, and then Casey just shot it down like I was an idiot.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know Chester. I wasn't familiar. I just know Spike. I remember Spike.
Yeah.
You know.
And so we did peruse the internet during the break, and this cartoon, which looks like, the original Mickey Mouse, where he's like a stick. Looks like it was drawn.
It's not that bad.
It was like it was drawn on Walt Disney's flip book.
Yeah.
It is called Chester and Spike. Do we have some audio of this?
Huh, Spike? You want it, huh? Nah. You wouldn't like that, would you, Spike? Hey, Spike, how about we chase cars, huh? Does that sound like fun?
This is what you spent your childhood watching?
It's one of them. But doesn't that sound like something Vivek would do?
I get it now. I just feel like we went in a very long circle.
But that was a good thing that we did the research and pointed out what it actually was, because for the people that missed the reference, like myself, now I understand what you're saying.
I think more people knew what I was talking about.
No, I don't think anybody did.
Yeah, no, they did. They remember that. They remember the Chester and Spike cartoon. Just because you weren't aware of it doesn't mean it didn't exist.
Well, Casey, in the 1940s, many of our audience was not alive, thus they might have not known it was on. But
by the way, it wasn't Hanna-Barbera. It was Looney Tunes who did it.
So this was like a playoff of Tom and Jerry? Is that what this thing was all about? Or they were just trying to, but instead of a cat and a mouse, we've got like a giant bulldog and then a little
dog.
Jack
a
Russell.
little dog.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just saying that Vivek was like the little dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
I get it now.
Well, your childhood must have been amazing.
Oh, you're one to talk.
I bet people are going to call in about this, too.
You think so?
I hope so.
And they'll remember. They'll remember. They'll side with me.
Some nostalgia.
They will. Yeah. 22 minutes after 11 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Let's talk about what Ron DeSantis did. He said he plans to set aside $1 million from the state's annual budget to Florida State University for potential litigation over the football team's controversial snub from the college football playoff.
You've got to be kidding me.
He's doing big dog energy.
No, he's doing pandering energy. This is pathetic. Okay, so this was and these politicians always do this, and it just is a reminder. This will serve as a reminder to people that this guy is a politician, and this is why he can't break through. So, if you want to see pandering, you watch a presidential primary. I mean, the Democrats were this way in 2019 and 2020. The Republicans were this way in 2015, 2016, and now we're right back to it in 2023, 2024, where there's just this ridiculous pandering. Like, I remember in 2012, the one that always stands out to me because DeSantis is Florida, Newt Gingrich came from out of nowhere in 2012. Like, he was kind of an also-ran. He was there. And then he won a state. I think it was South Carolina, or maybe he did one New Hampshire, one of the two. And I remember the Drudge headline was Lazarus Rising, and it was like Newt Gingrich has come back from the dead, and now he's going to challenge Mitt Romney, and it's down to Romney and Newt Gingrich. And they go to Florida because it's I think right after South Carolina and before Super Tuesday, and he starts unprompted going into this thing about going back to the moon, and maybe Mars was in there, and everybody's looking around like, dude, your whole campaign has been about bloated government spending, wasteful government spending, and now here you are, because that's where the space station, the space launches, et cetera, are. Now you're totally pandering to these people, and you're just no different than anybody else. And then he quickly was derailed because people saw, wait a second, when the rubber meets the road, you're the same guy as everybody else. This is the same thing, right? The NCAA, the selection committee made their choice. There was no good answer here because there were about 7 or 8 teams who you could probably make a compelling case were super deserving. The 4 that got in, Ohio State, Florida State, Georgia. All of them, you could say immediately, these teams deserve to be in and no one would bat an eye. Is it fun to give them crap and say, hey, what a complete joke that Florida State went undefeated and didn't get in? Yeah, but it's not like they picked IU as the other team. They picked,
Alabama.
They picked Michigan, who's undefeated, Washington, who's undefeated, Alabama, who beat Georgia and won the SEC, which is the premier football conference in America, and Texas, who beat Alabama and also lost one game. It's not like there was some, clearly like there were some backroom bribes going on here. They made the best of a no-win situation.
Yeah, well, it just seemed like they didn't want to go back to like when TCU took a real beating. They wanted to have a more even matchup, they're saying. But if they're saying that all of this rode on the quarterback, well, shouldn't he be eligible for the Heisman? I mean, wouldn't he be the clear winner if they're saying they're keeping that team out because the quarterback's going to be sidelined? And it's inconsistent.
Sure.
They've been saying, some years they go by some rules, some years they go by other rules, and it becomes more of an invitational, not a playoff system. It all changed next year anyway.
It's a business, and Florida State actually has no one to blame but themselves. They tried to expand the thing to, I believe it was 8 this year, and Florida State was a part of a group who blocked them being able to do that. It is a business. There's going to be far more interest in a Michigan-Alabama game.
Classic matchup.
And it'll be a better game than there will be Florida State and Michigan. And look, I'm a person who believes Florida State should have got in. If the Power 5 designation matters and you go undefeated and they beat really good teams. Louisville was in their top 10 2 weeks ago. Okay, so it's not like they played LSU, they beat the doors off LSU. So it's not like Florida State didn't win key games. But all that aside, I don't look at the committee and go, oh my gosh, an egregious sin has happened here. And the fact that you're using government resources, government taxpayer money to potentially try to sue these, I mean, that's pandering, and it tells me you're no different than everybody else.
I think it'll be a really interesting matchup between Harbaugh and Saban. Classic coaches, classic teams.
It's going to be way more watch. There's going to be way more interest in that. And the Washington game with Michael Penix and Texas, that'll be very interesting. I think Texas may be the best team in the tournament, but there's no wrong answer here. There's actually no right answer here, and they did the best they could.
Okay, so DeSantis even noted that, his kids are going to be Seminoles growing up in Tallahassee, and he said litigation isn't going to change the outcome. Let's hear from him, and then I have one last comment for you, Rob.
But what we decided to do, we're setting aside $1 million for any litigation expenses that may become as a result of this really, really poor decision by the college football playoffs to exclude an undefeated team who won a big Power 5 conference championship. And look, I'm as governor, I didn't go to any of the Florida universities, and so I've said from the beginning, I just want us to get back to where Miami, Florida, and Florida State were always competing for the national championship. I want more of our blue chip high school recruits to stay in state and all that. And that's kind of been what I've done. But the fact that we live now in Tallahassee and in the governor's residence, my first grader, my fifth grader, and my preschooler, what they know is Tallahassee. And so they are all Noles, and they are big-time fans, and they do the tomahawk chop. And they were not happy on Sunday when Florida State was left out on that college football special selection show.
Okay, so he did write on X. He said, congratulations to FSU football for an outstanding season and winning the ACC championship. Of course, Florida State's going to take on University of Georgia on December 30th in the Orange Bowl. But here's the one last comment I have for you,
yes.
Rob, and this is not Florida State football at all. This is Notre Dame football.
Yes.
They're probably going to the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Yeah, how about that?
It tells you where they sit.
Hey, but real quick. So if Georgia beats the brakes off Florida State, as most people think they will, then is he going to eat it and replace that $1 million with his own money? I mean, what a colossal just abuse of the taxpayers to say we're going to take $1 million to fight a selection committee.
Yeah. Waste of time, waste of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
If you need to sell your home during the holidays, quick, fast, and guaranteed is what you want. Make selling your home easy without sacrificing profit by calling Mark Deedle. Perhaps you're worried about settling for less money with a low ball instant offer. Mark Deedle guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Cindy and George in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Deedle. A job relocation with a hard start date had us scrambling to get our house sold fast. Mark launched his intense marketing plan, and he got multiple offers. We sold for the price we needed in plenty of time to move with money in our pocket for our next home. Call for all the details. Call the agent I trust and recommend and the agent who guarantees your home sold, or he'll buy it. Call Mark Deedle at 317-755-4232 or go online to markdeedle.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com. Mark Deedle, tell him Rob sent you.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How many casualties? I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Fighting is getting more intense as Israeli forces continue to push through Gaza.
Israeli ground forces pushing into the heart of Gaza's second biggest city and home base for the leadership of the Hamas terror group. It's being called the most fierce battles of the nearly 2-month-long war, backed up by intense airstrikes, 250 in the last 24 hours. Israeli military claiming Hamas losses plus deaths on their side.
Fox's Greg Palcott reporting. Norman Lear has died. He produced several early mid-70s TV shows that helped change the face of TV for a generation. He was behind some of the greats like All in the Family, The Jeffersons, Good Times, and One Day at a Time. Lear passed away in Los Angeles overnight. He was 101 years old. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Are your health insurance premiums making you sick? George and Megan at yourcoverage.net can help. George and Megan have helped countless individuals and families save 30 to 60% on health insurance with superior coverage. George recently saved a family of four $800 a month with the Aetna Network $0 deductible and $0 doctor office copay plan. This is not a government-sponsored health insurance plan. So if you're uninsured, recently lost your job, on COBRA, or are paying extremely high rates for Obamacare or your work coverage, George and Megan will help you if you meet the flexible guidelines for health insurance. Yourcoverage.net will provide you the best coverage at the lowest rate. Their goal is to give you peace of mind and the utmost in healthcare. Go to yourcoverage.net and see for yourself, or better yet, call George and Megan at 1-800-491-5500. That's 1-800-491-5500. Or go to yourcoverage.net. That's yourcoverage.net, a premium personalized healthcare plan managed and designed by you, not the government.
Denise has been playing jazz for 40 years. Last concert, one of the musicians fell sick with RSV. Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems. This time, she's choosing to help protect herself with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo. Abrysvo is a vaccine for the prevention of lower respiratory tract disease caused by respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, in adults 60 years of age and older. Abrysvo is not for everyone and may not protect all who receive the vaccine. Don't get Abrysvo if you've had a severe allergic reaction to its ingredients. People with a weakened immune system may have a decreased response to Abrysvo. The most common side effects are tiredness, headache, pain at the injection site, and muscle pain. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, respiratory syncytial virus vaccine. For full prescribing information, please call 1-844-989-7284 or visit abrysvo.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
33 minutes after 11 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So Riley Gaines has been everywhere recently, and yesterday she was testifying on Capitol Hill in regards to protecting women's sports. During the testimony, the Democrats' key witness just advocated for biological males to be able to participate in women's sports. Why? So that women can learn to lose gracefully.
You're lying to me.
No, I'm not. Let's listen.
The reality is that, like their peers, trans girls and women
They sometimes lose at sports, and sometimes they win. And success in school sports depends on a whole range of factors, including how hard you work and coaching and access to really good resources and facilities. And trans students participate in sports for the same reason as their kids, because it is fun, because it creates belonging and community, because it teaches so much about persistence and leadership and discipline, unless they learn to lose gracefully, hopefully.
There you go.
So don't feel bad that you got beat by someone with a penis, because you got to learn how to lose to people with the penis.
Mm-hmm. You have to learn to lose gracefully. What was it? Was it cycling, I believe? Yeah. 2 men took the top 2 spots in the Illinois State Championship yesterday.
If you're a feminist, if you're a pro-woman advocate, or whatever we call these people these days, where are you at on this?
Mm-hmm.
How are you not speaking out about this? How are you not standing up against this? And this woman says this. Like, there was a time, and it wouldn't have been all that long ago. Like, even go back, I don't know, 10 years ago. Had this person said this in front of the government, Congress, whatever, she would have been laughed out of the room. And yet, she will say this now, that women should have to compete against men because you got to learn how to get your ass beat with grace. And people not only don't laugh her out of the room, there are people nodding in agreement in there.
Same.
And then there are people all over media outlets across this country who are in lockstep with this lunatic.
Yeah. Okay. So inclusion can't be prioritized over safety and fairness. The whole thing is ridiculous. They should have separate leagues if that's what they need. The Biden administration proposing changes. And so Riley Gaines, and I think it's fabulous that she is the one who's out in front because she's got the experience and she speaks very well on it. But she has a fantastic comeback to Senator Lee.
Such as teamwork and goal setting. In terms of mental health, studies show that participating in youth sports is associated with lower rates of anxiety and depression, lower amounts of stress, higher self-esteem and confidence.
Women must stop. Inclusion cannot be prioritized over safety and fairness. And Ranking Member Lee, if my testimony makes me transphobic, then I believe your opening monologue makes you a misogynist. Thank you.
So after Riley Gaines talked about that, Lee removed her words to be taken down.
Well, isn't it fascinating? And I don't get, the trans people are such a small part of the populace, and the legitimately trans people, the people who actually believe. I mean, let's face it. There is a reason that until very recently this was diagnosed as a mental disorder, and don't be mad at me for that. I'm not in the community that did that, and many very liberal people were a part of that scientific community that until very recently diagnosed this as a mental disorder, because it is. It's not natural to be a man and believe you should be a woman. It's not natural to be a woman and believe you should be a man, the same way as various other things are qualified as disorders. I have a low level of obsessive compulsive disorder. It's not natural to check your refrigerator and make sure it's shut 3 times. It's not natural to stare at the garage door once you see it going down and make sure it sits and locks. I don't walk around telling people that's totally normal. No, I'm a somewhat neurotic person, and that's an affliction of it. I've learned to manage my obsessive compulsive disorder. It used to be far more serious than it is today. But I recognized I am not in the mainstream of society on this. This is not natural behavior. The same way wanting to chop off your penis if you're a man is not natural behavior, and we shouldn't placate to these people. Now, there is a portion of the populace, very small, who genuinely believes they were born in the wrong body. I do not dispute that. However, the meteoric rise of the amount of people who believe this over the past 5 years, many of them are not legitimate. It is societal inducement into believing that. You're not someone who was born that way. You've been influenced to think that. The same way as 10 years ago. Remember all those people were coming out as gay 10 years ago? Because it was the cause du jour.
It was the thing to do.
And there's a child, someone under the age of 18 should not be able to make this choice, Casey. When you're 18 years of age and you're an adult, you can start chopping and growing whatever you want. You're still not mentally capable of making that choice, but society says you're an adult, so you go. But the idea that we let 14 and 15-year-old kids do this and think it's normal is abuse. It's abuse, Casey.
Okay, so I misspoke. Lee is not a senator. She's a congresswoman, but the Biden administration trying to rewrite Title IX, it's a direct attack on women's rights. And you can't have men taking titles and scholarships and the dignity and not calling it women. It's cheating is what it is. And you know what? I want to play this, Kevin, if you can grab clip number 6. Nikki Haley was asked about this, about 12-year-old children, and should they be allowed to get sex change operations if they want. And you would think, as she's running for president as a Republican, she would say no. This was her answer.
Madam Ambassador, another question is what care should be on the table when a 12-year-old child in this country, assigned female at birth, says, actually, I feel more comfortable living as a boy. What should the law allow the response to be?
Well, I think the law should stay out of it, and I think parents should handle it.
You think that a 12-year-old should be allowed to chop off their penis, lady?
And this is the woman who wants the law to ban anonymous accounts on social media, yet there should not be a law for this issue.
That's insane. This whole thing is insane.
Maybe they'll get into that tonight in the debate.
And it's catering to such a small portion of the populace, Casey. This is what I don't get about it.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Big Hammer and Nigel show this afternoon. The great Bill O'Reilly joins us, and we have the finals of Biden Madness. 3 to 7, 93 WIBC.
Winter may seem like a strange time to replace the windows in your house, but with Window Nation, today is the perfect time. And right now, Window Nation is offering you 50% off all window styles. Plus, you could even get 0% interest for 5 years. With new energy-efficient windows from Window Nation, you'll start saving money instantly on your heating bills and get rid of those annoying cold drafts that are letting your heat out. And in the summer, they'll keep that cool AC in, so you'll save money all year long.
Plus, Window Nation's professional installation means your windows will fit right in your home, treated with care. And with 50% off all style of windows and 0 interest for 5 years, it's time to give Window Nation a look today. Let Window Nation show you all the options to fit your needs and your budget. All you got to do is call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com to get started. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
So what's a good rate on a CD today? Something like 5%? Yeah, and that's the highest it's been in a long time. Well, you know your retirement guy, Bill Demery, could help you do way better, right? Hey, it's Hammer and Nigel. Instead of getting 5%, what if you could get a much better return? Like a return that's averaged 7% per year for the past 10 years. That's 40% better. Let me say that again, 40% better.
Plus, now check this out. You also get an immediate 13% bonus on your investment. And it's all backed by one of the largest insurers in the world. A 13% bonus and a 7% average return. You should call Bill Demery right now. 317-648-5120. 13% bonus. This won't last long. 317-648-5120. Bill Demery, 648-5120. Past performance is no guarantee of future returns.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first. And then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Hammer and Nigel here. When it comes to health, there are numbers every man needs to know, including your testosterone number. We recommend Low T Center. They make it quick and easy to get your levels checked, and it's only $25. Walk in, take a simple blood test, and you'll know results in about 25 minutes.
Low T can make you feel tired and grumpy. It can cause lack of motivation and drive. It can raise cholesterol, cause weight gain, loss of muscle mass. LowTCenter.com. Book online right now. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Hey, Brent, love the color. If you had to choose, would you watch paint dry or compare benefits plans?
Compare benefits plans, obviously.
But you know how complicated benefits are, right?
Well, I run payroll with Gusto. Gusto makes it easy to find benefits like medical, dental, and vision for my whole team.
Whoa. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna need new glasses.
Don't worry, you're covered.
Choose benefits without the mess. Visit gusto.com/radio to sign up for free.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis is everything that's right about Central Indiana. They've been locally family-owned for 50 years, helping our local economy remain strong by employing 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis is proud to do business right here in the great state of Indiana. They're a conservative-minded company that shares our values and stands by their products and services. You can call Garage Doors of Indianapolis today for service today. 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
Hey, we're pretty social people at WIBC. You can find us all over social media. See what we're up to on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. We're never more than just away. Just search for 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC. It is the Kendall and Casey show. Rob, are you a fan of Christmas music? Are you one of those people you turn it on as soon as Thanksgiving starts?
No, I'm okay. So I just said no, and people are gonna be like, "What a horrific human being you are." I just think a month is a little much.
A little too far in
It's just
advance?
a little much, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because there's only, let's face it, there's probably, and our sister station B1057 plays Christmas music every single year, and they do very, very well in the ratings. And so clearly I am in the minority on this, that it shouldn't last, a whole month. But there's like, what? 30, maybe 40 super mainstream Christmas songs that everybody is like, oh, that's one of the classics. Everyone knows that one. And I think after about the third or fourth time through the loop, you're just ready to gouge your eyes out.
Okay, well, I don't know if you've heard about this, but Brenda Lee's Rocking Around the Christmas Tree.
Yes.
You're familiar with this one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That would be one of the 40 that you would say would probably be in the regular rotation.
Right. It has topped the Billboard Hot 100 chart for the first time since it was released in 1958.
Oh, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it took, 63 years to get up there? It beat Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, which is now number 2.
Oh,
Poor
no.
Mariah, what is she ever going to do?
Isn't that wild that Mariah Carey song is the song she is now most identified with? I mean, you see the memes mocking her and that song that, began, hey, 1 month till this, or isn't that crazy that of all the success she had, that is probably the song she's most identified with now?
Yeah, I did a little bad math just there. 65 years for Brenda Lee's Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. Of course, it was featured in Home Alone, but even that didn't do it. I don't know why this year was the year Brenda Lee got the number 1 spot.
Brenda Lee used to do, I feel terrible here. Maybe you can check on your cellular telephone if we were playing the Dead or Alive game, whether she is still with us or not. But she used to do a big kind of like tour where she did a local thing, the oldies. There was an oldie station here for many, many years, and they used to be the kind of, presenting station for her big, gala event around Christmas time. And obviously that was a huge part of that was just people of, kind of my parents' age, and then your parents a little older than my parents, but they would go and see her do that song because it was such an iconic song of their youth.
She is still alive.
Oh, very good.
Because she's sending out quotes and statements.
Oh, no. Well, these days, Casey, that doesn't even mean anything.
She said she was a young teenager when Rockin' came out, and she knew that it resonated with lots of generations. But she's 78 years old, and she is the oldest artist now to top the chart. It used to be held by Louis Armstrong with Hello, Dolly in 1964.
I would have thought Dolly Parton might have been able to surpass that because she's about that age, but apparently not. Well, so congratulations to her. I'm not sure how I would have done on the Brenda Lee Alive or Dead game. I would have really had to think long and hard about that. I actually would have thought she was older than 78 years old, but clearly the internet never lies.
Yeah, there's a new video that's circulating that goes with the song, and it's her singing the song. But I'm wondering if social media isn't part of the reason why her song became number one on the Hot 100 chart, because now people are getting the video to go along with the song.
You know what is the most underrated Christmas song of all time? And it almost never gets played on radio stations, and that is just a complete tragedy that doesn't happen.
What?
It's a song, in case you're a music aficionado, so I know you've no doubt not only heard this song, but you probably have it on a loop in your large high-rise that you live in.
Yeah.
Jim Croce did a Christmas song called It Doesn't Have to Be That Way.
Oh, I don't know that one.
What?
No.
Are you serious?
I don't know that one.
Well, it is the all-time, I think, well, look, there are obviously songs about the Lord and Savior that are ahead of anything Jim Croce ever did, but no, it's, to me, from a commercial perspective, the greatest Christmas song of all time.
See, and I'm kind of like you. I like 2,000 Miles from the Pretenders, which isn't your typical Christmas song on top of the charts. But yeah, now the one thing that I wanted to ask you is, do you like wasabi?
Do I like who?
Wasabi.
Well, do I like what?
I'm totally changing the subject.
This is a family program here, Casey.
Wasabi. It's a green spicy food. It's a plant.
No.
It's
Casey, do I look like the sort of person, you have known me for 2 years now.
Sushi lovers would know.
Do I look like the sort of person who would like
wasabi? No, you don't.
Does it come in a bag? Does it come in a bag with a logo on it?
Do you ever eat sushi?
No, my wife does all the time. There's a sushi place in Brownsburg, and so I will pick food up for her because she works from home a lot of time, all the time, and I just pretend to be a DoorDash guy.
Okay, well, she probably likes this, and that's a good thing for her, because a new study came out that says wasabi will increase your memory.
Oh.
A new study was done, and it is not only short-term memory, but also long-term memory. They're saying that it has a wealth of health benefits.
Oh, how exciting.
It's an antibiotic, it's anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, and it can have dramatic changes in anybody who eats it.
You ever notice how often they change their opinion on stuff, though? It seems like every year there's a study that comes out, and oftentimes it will contradict the previous study on whatever the thing is.
One year eggs are good for you, one year they're not. One year butter's good for you, one year butter's not. Same with milk and meat, everything.
You know why I think that is? People make money off the study business. And once you've studied something and then it's definitive, then there's no need to study it anymore. And thus we must have another study that contradicts the previous study, so we'll need to study it further.
Okay, well, researchers believe that wasabi, the extract, lowers levels of oxidants and inflammation in the hippocampus. And you're so smart, I know you know what the hippocampus is.
Why don't you tell me? Even though I clearly know, our audience probably needs to know. And I don't, it's half your show.
You don't want to show off, right?
Yeah, the wasabi and the hippocampus, and you tell me.
The hippocampus is part of the brain responsible for memory.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
At what age did you start losing your memory? I should ask, have you started losing your memory?
Oh, right. No, it's perfectly intact because, I eat lots of wasabi. No, I don't. I don't like it either. It's too spicy.
I have found that, look, I'm not saying like I don't remember your name type of thing, but I'm nearing 40, and I'm finding that it maybe sometimes will take me a moment or two. There'll be things like I'll see someone's face, or there'll be a thing, hey, I know I'm supposed to be doing this, and it just doesn't register quite like it used to.
Yeah. Okay, well, you can always go to Wikipedia to look up things if you want.
Yeah, that's true. And nobody ever lies on the internet. It's not like anybody can just get on Wikipedia and enter whatever they want.
Well, Wikipedia has released their top 25 most viewed pages for 23.
Oh, how exciting.
What do you think the number one thing people look up
on
is?
Wikipedia?
On Wikipedia.
Oh, my gosh, Casey, Donald Trump.
No.
Oh.
84 billion page views so far in 2023, and getting half of that is ChatGPT.
Oh,
People looking up artificial intelligence.
No kidding.
Yes.
Boy, that's really scary.
They created an entire list of all, everything that people are looking up. And if I could get to the bottom here of the article, I could share that with you. Oppenheimer's
Isn't it wild the things people get? And here's the thing. So, of course, anybody can get into Wikipedia and enter whatever they want. And there's supposed to be mechanisms by which, it can kind of be sourced and edited back if there's incorrect information. But Isn't that wild, though, that now our source, it's not Encyclopedia Britannica anymore or various great books of the Western world. It's now, hey, let's go to Wikipedia and see what Fred thought about this.
Let's go to Wiki. Okay, so it's ChatGPT at number one. This is morbid. People looking up deaths in 23.
Well, we're getting to the end of the year, though, and that's pretty common. We kind of remember the one year, was it like 2016, where there were all just so many famous people, and right until the very end of the year, famous people were just kicking the bucket left and right.
Yep. Another thing that's on this list is the 2023 Cricket World Cup.
Oh,
a lot of people very interested in that. Of course, I mentioned Oppenheimer. People are researching not only the film Oppenheimer, but J. Robert Oppenheimer, the actual person. Oh, boy, this one's going to upset you. Taylor Swift is on the list.
Well, of course she is.
And I'm going to guess she might be Person of the Year, by the way.
Oh,
she's probably in the running for that.
But I'd like to point out, I'm in no way comparing her to this person, but Hitler was also Person of the Year.
Right.
So let's just
So there, take that with you.
Yeah.
Also, Barbie. People are looking up Lionel Messi. Also, Matthew Perry from Friends. Elon Musk.
Tony Katz is on that list somewhere too, right?
No, he's not.
Boy, that's very interesting. I would have totally had him on my top 10.
Lisa Marie Presley is, and Andrew Tate.
Of course, right?
Tony Katz number 26, of course. Sorry, the list only went to 25. But speaking of Tony Katz, he's coming up next. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for listening today. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hey, it's Rob. I started losing hair around my crown, and my hairline was starting to recede. I went to We Grow Hair Indie, and they helped grow my hair back. My friend Dave First, a sports broadcaster for over 20 years, also struggled with hair loss. Dave, what happened?
My thinning hair was bothering me. For me, I'm in the public eye. I'm a dad also, and I want to look and feel my best. And if I'm going to do something about my hair, I want to go with the best. We Grow Hair Indie. They really set the standard.
Dave, that's amazing. I had the same procedure, multi-unit hair grafting transplants, which gives you more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Call 317-522-2995 for your free hair and scalp evaluation. Find out if hair transplants or PRP is right for you.
If you're thinking about this, don't waste your time or money. Go to the experts.
Call 317-522-2995, 522-2995, or visit WeGrowHairIndie.com, the gold standard for hair restoration.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Hi, this is Denny Smith. The professionals at C&J Water are once again offering unbelievable discounts for you to upgrade your current system or to create that dream water setup. Buy any one item, get 5% off the total. Buy any 2 items, enjoy a generous 10% off the total. Buy any 3 or more items, get an incredible 15% off your total purchase. Act now and make your water system goals a reality with C&J. They're local, they're exceptional, they're affordable. 317-733-SOFT or cnjwater.com.
Inspired by family traditions and peaceful harmony. Inspired by the reason for the season. Our Savior